Got some crashes out there. 40 westbound at Fessler's Lane. Then in Smyrna, debris blocking the center lane. 24 eastbound near Sam Ridley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. It is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another day this Wednesday, May 14, 2025. Glad to have you with us. Whether you're listening on 99.7 FM, I certainly hope you are. Most of you do. Perhaps you're listening on a variety of different apps where we broadcast. We have our own. You can download it. SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. Take us wherever you go. You can also listen to us on Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, and the like. You can also find us on Talk TV. That's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. So many different platforms for you to listen or watch the radio show. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being a part of our afternoon, and I appreciate you allowing us to be a part of yours. When I say we, I'm talking about Chris Weber. He's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. How are you on this Wednesday or Friday?
I forgot about that. I'm good. I'm excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's wrong in there?
Good day.
Something's wrong in there. Hey, Ken.
What's going on, boy?
What's the backside of Weber look like? Because the front side's looking weird.
What do you mean?
He just reacted weird. He just kind of gave me a look.
Well, I forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, no, you're
I'm off next couple days.
You got the big graduations here. How did everything go last night?
Yeah,
Good?
very nice. The senior honors went way too long, got to say. I mean, no offense, all the kids need to be honored, and
Sure.
but quite frankly, I could have seen my kid get honored and then let you guys handle the rest. I don't need to sit around for all that.
I mean,
No offense.
I don't know. You know,
Some kid. Let me just say this. I got to get this off my chest.
Let's go. Let's go.
Some kids need to save some of the stuff for somebody else. I mean,
Weber's putting on his Ram pants, y'all.
grief, man. I have never seen so many smart kids in my whole life. Like, they couldn't even stand up straight. They had so many tassels around their neck at some point.
Oh, they got all the stuff.
Save some brains for somebody else, will you? Good grief.
That's not fair.
Man.
It's smart kids.
So what are they getting? I mean, describe to me because look, I'm a long way from high school. I don't remember any of this in high school. I don't even think I attended most of my senior year. But but what all are we on? Like science award, math award, these types of things.
Yeah, and obviously all of the different specialties. If they were in certain clubs, like my son, he was he got the theater cord. The little braided rope that they give him because he did theater his whole 4 years and participated in all the plays and did so many hours of service and that sort of thing. He did that, and then he got a recognition certificate for his 3.5 GPA.
Nice.
But, they honor all of the different clubs and activities, the science specialties, the robotics, the math, like the Girl Scouts, they were honored. And then all of the, the uber smart kids that got just tremendous recognition, and deservedly so. They put in a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. I'm just glad they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Public school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad they're still doing it.
I just remember thinking, and this school is bigger than the school I attended, but I thought, when they got to the honors recognition for the GPAs and stuff, I thought, I don't remember having this many smart kids in my class when I was a senior. There's a lot of smart kids.
We had a lot of dopes.
Yeah.
Just a lot of
Me
dopes.
too, yeah. Like they were giving out awards for thanks for coming, that type of stuff.
And now it's time for the attendance award. Sit down, Mr. Murphy. Weaver, did you win any awards in high school?
No.
And look,
I did not.
And see, look, I wanted to win. You know what? I wanted to be. We had the senior superlatives.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Right. And so these are, best GPA. I mean, the valedictorian, salutatorian. I forget, but it was most likely to succeed. And then there was most talented. And for some reason, I was obsessed with being most talented. I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I wanted most talented or most likely to succeed. I wanted one of those two.
By golly, did you get one?
No. You know what I got? I was a senior superlative. You know what I got?
What's that?
Wittiest.
I see that.
Wittiest, Ken.
The wittiest.
That's kind of like they threw you a bone, right?
That's what
Is that
I
the way you
felt
felt?
like.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt.
Yeah.
That I was kind of
You're a smart ass is what they're telling you, right?
pretty much.
That's what it is.
See, here's the great thing. What they didn't know is that I didn't come up with any of those jokes on my own. People said them quietly, and I just said them louder.
Yeah.
Which is how I've made a fancy radio career. I just say things louder than everybody else.
Whatever works, man.
Whatever.
I always wanted the least likely to give a crap, or most likely to. Wait, yeah,
Most likely to not give a
Yeah,
crap.
they didn't have that, but
Weird.
I succeeded anyway. So take that.
If they were being honest, they should have what would be the opposite of senior superlatives, or the
Degenerates.
least likely to succeed.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. We'd
Dumbest.
had a lot of competition for those in my high school.
Oh, that's another one. We had most intellectual. Andy Intrican won most intellectual. That was the valedictorian.
The ones
of the course.
the ones who'll still live here 20 years from now.
Oh man, there's a lot of them in Thompson, Georgia. THOMSON.
Peaked in high school award.
Oh man, and look. I don't mean to be this guy, but I judge him. If you're still in Thompson, I judge you.
There's a big world out there, folks.
It's a big world, and Thompson was crappy when I was there in the 90s. It's got to be crappier now.
Yeah. Look, I grew up in a town with one traffic light. There's still people that live there, and it's like, why?
And I guess I shouldn't judge. I mean, different strokes for different folks.
Never
Whatever.
left.
But you know what? Here's the thing. If you live in, I used to say something. I used to say that if you,
Here we go, Brother Murphy.
I still believe this. If you live in a trailer park and you don't see the problem with that, you're a loser.
Okay.
What if you want to live in a trailer park?
Well, so
What if you got a great trailer and you've lived there for a long time?
Weaver.
You've got pets buried outside of it.
When's the last time you were in the trailer park?
It's been a while.
Yeah, that's spoken like a guy that hadn't been in a trailer park in a while. If you live in the trailer park and you don't see the problem with that, you're a loser. And I used to say that all the time. Oh, my Lord, it would make people mad. Make people so mad.
I bet you it's not doing that right now.
But here's the deal. I think most people understand exactly what I'm saying. But if you are the rare human being, and I had to start putting a caveat on it, because there was a guy that called me, and he was a painter. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, I love my life, and I live in the trailer park. And I said, well, you don't love living. And then he goes, no, I absolutely love living in the trailer park. And I go and I paint. I paint houses, and I paint exteriors and interiors, and I get off work, and I smoke the hell out of some weed, and I sit at home, and I watch my TV, and I drink a few beers, and I go to bed, and I get up, and I do it again, and I love it. And I was like, okay.
Man, I have to get me a trailer.
I mean,
Start painting
you're
houses.
making it sound pretty good, to be honest. And then he told me this story. He knew a lot of contractors, and he said, this is one of the greatest stories I've ever been told on the radio. He said the manager of the trailer park got on his ass for not cutting his grass. And he said it wasn't that tall. But she gets on him. She stops him coming home one night. It's like, hey, you need to cut that grass. And he said, lady, we live in the trailer park. And she's like, well, I'm just trying to keep up appearances. So he said,
Keep up appearances.
he said that so apparently he was responsible for his little lot.
Yeah.
He said he talked to one of his contractor buddies, and he got blacktop, and he blacktopped his entire lot.
I took care of that.
Yeah.
He said, well, not got to worry about that grass cutting anymore.
Nope. took care of all kinds of insects, too.
Oh, yeah, no question about that. So, anyway, if you live in the trailer park, don't call me. Just don't. I don't want to hear it. But y'all know. You don't want to be in there single wide. Come on. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah,
How many hours was it?
Let's see. I got there almost an hour late, and I was there for at least another hour and 20 minutes. It was a big night.
It's one of those deals,
That's
man.
a big old deal.
Where and see, and I don't have any kids, so I've not dealt with this in life, but it's one of those you just have to understand it going in, right? You're there for your child,
Yeah,
you're there for your son. You understand that you have to suffer through all of these other idiots you don't care anything about.
It's a mental thing, dude. You just got to get mentally ready.
Did they still do? I mean, I guess they don't do by alphabet, so.
Well, they did for my daughter's graduation, and we're
man.
Weaver.
Jeez.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm assuming they're going to do that tomorrow night. It's going to be alphabetical, and we'll be last.
Yes.
Next to it.
You think they'll tell people not to scream and yell, and people will scream and yell?
Of course.
Of course
They
they
did
do.
some of that last night. Please hold your applause. So we've called all the names, and inevitably someone's going to applaud.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
come on.
absolutely.
Just,
You're not going to tell me what to do. I don't go to this school.
My precious little angel won an award. I'm in on it. Oh, my good. Well, congratulations to your son, though. I mean, that's a big
very
deal.
proud.
That's a big deal for mom and daddy, too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's a milestone. We've fulfilled our promise.
When'd you tell him
You're on your own now, buddy.
I was about to say, when'd you tell him he needs to be out? Out!
We're just going to wait till he goes to work and then pack all his stuff and put it out on the curb.
You know what? You should just get some suitcases, and
Yeah.
one day when he comes home, just have them outside. He's like, "What are those? That's your stuff." Time to learn some of that independence we've been talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Kinda
You want it, you got it.
Kind of like Kevin Cronin, Time to Fly.
That's right. Just kick them out of the nest, and they're either going to fall and get eaten by a raccoon, or they'll be all right. All right, we got a lot to get into today. I mean, not the least of which is the scholarship program tomorrow. We've got Michael Lotfi with Americans for Prosperity. He's coming on to explain exactly what the process is going to be. They've been on top of this situation for the better part of the year. They were advancing the idea of scholarships that give parents a better ability to choose a school that is best for their youngster. And now you have that ability, but there are only 20,000 scholarships, and apparently there are a lot more than 20,000 people that want to be involved in that. We'll talk about that. We will give you the latest on Nashville, Tennessee, the surrounding communities, and where we are with Tennessee Highway Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I've been begging for some local or state leadership to come out and clap back against this nonsense that's being spewed by Freddie O'Connell, the mayor of Nashville. Well, we have found someone that's willing to do so. And it's an old friend of the show who I haven't heard from in a month of Sundays. Ladies and gentlemen, Representative Andy Ogles.
Instead of thanking you and your leadership and thanking the president, the mayor of Nashville criticized and attacked law enforcement verbally. He then instructed members of law enforcement to report any communication with federal authorities. He then directed the Police Community Oversight Board to direct citizens to file complaints against law enforcement if they cooperate with federal law enforcement. Considering we've seen a 400% increase against federal law enforcement, do these types of statements and actions by a municipal leader concern you?
Yes, absolutely. They perpetuate the violence against law enforcement officers. And what happens many times then is that our agents within the Department of Homeland Security go into situations with no backup, with no local response of people who know the communities, know the routes, the roads, or the needs to emergency services that may be there. So it absolutely makes them much more vulnerable to a situation to which their lives could be in jeopardy.
Yes, ma'am. And if a municipal leader is found to be aiding and abetting illegal immigrants to evade federal law enforcement, would that be a criminal act?
Yes, I believe it would, sir.
And if elected officials impede ICE or Homeland Security in doing their job and pursuing illegal immigrants, would that be a criminal act?
I believe so.
Madam Secretary and Mr. Chairman, I will be asking the Committee of Homeland Security and Judiciary to be looking into the mayor of Nashville and any collusion or impeding of federal authorities and conducting their work in the city of Nashville. I would also encourage this committee and judiciary to look at other leaders, municipal leaders across the country, as they obstruct this administration, this Madam Secretary and her employees in doing their constitutional job, which is uphold the rule of law. Madam Secretary, I thank you, and I yield back.
That's Representative Andy Ogles of the 5th Congressional District speaking to Kristi Noem, obviously, the Secretary of Homeland Security. Now, I have been begging for someone, whether it be Congressman Mark Green, Congressman Tim Burtt. I mean, Tim's a little further out, but Mark Green, John Rose, someone or a local official. And look, I'm not trying to name names. I'm not trying to out people. I know most of the people that I would name, like Governor Bill Lee or Jack Johnson or Randy McNally, whomever, Cameron Sack, they agree with the idea of patrolling. They agree with the idea of apprehending criminal illegal aliens and returning them to their countries of origin or prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law. I understand that they do, but where are they vocally? There needs to be a vocal pushback against this nonsense being spewed by the mayor of Nashville, as if we're not stopping criminal illegal aliens in our midst, which is obviously what's happening. No thanks to the Metro Nashville Police, who have apparently gotten marching orders not to help at all. And if they've gotten marching orders, it's one thing to not help. It's another thing to impede. And representatives like Afton Ben and this Sepulveda, Sandra. I think I can call her Sandra. We're on a first-name basis. For those, they were actively following and reporting on ICE whereabouts, which is an impediment for ICE doing their job, and it actually endangers the Tennessee Highway Patrol and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I know that Andy and I, we've had our moments and our issues, and I've not been impressed with him in a lot of ways. But thank you, Andy Ogles. I can say thank you when it is merited. Thank you for stepping up and publicly admonishing the mayor of this city for his ridiculous comments, for actually saying, Freddie O'Connell, we've played it multiple times on our show. I'm sure you've heard it. Freddie O'Connell actually said that the Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE made Nashville less safe by removing child predators, sex offenders, gang members, criminals off of these streets, that we are somehow less safe. And I have not seen one local reporter question him on how exactly that is. In addition, as Andy Ogles mentioned, they are now empowering the community organizations that were designed to have, quote, oversight over the Metro Nashville Police. They're being empowered to report on ICE. And they want to punish any police officers locally that had anything to do with ICE. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. It's 23 after the hour, just getting underway. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is The Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hey, friends, I want to tell you a story about Briella, who was ready to take an abortion pill and end her pregnancy. When the abortion pill never came, she decided to go to a pregnancy clinic. And after receiving a free ultrasound provided by Preborn, her eternal moment happened. Not only did her baby wave, but she realized that this was the baby boy that she had been praying for, and it was a baby boy, in fact. When a mother with an unplanned pregnancy is deciding about the future of her unborn child, it can be overwhelming. She wants to make the right choice, but sadly, society and many of those around her oftentimes tell her that a baby is not alive. Preborn's entire ministry is to provide love to these women and to empower them to choose life in these circumstances. Will you help? When you support Preborn, you're supporting pro-life clinics with free ultrasounds. You know, one ultrasound is $28, and you can give monthly if you so choose. To get involved, dial pound 250 and keyword baby. That's pound 250 keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Murphy. That's preborn.com/Murphy. Murphy. Only $28, and you can save a life through the wonderful ministry and clinics of Preborn.
Kroger might be overcharging you, encouraging trend in overdose deaths in this country, and it is day 3 of the federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. All this and more at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I would like to remind everyone that we, in the studios of Super Talk 99.7 WTN, we, as a commentary-based program, act independently of News Closet B and Ken Weaver. Therefore, I maintain that here in our studios, we remain a Diddy-free zone. Ken, we announced this last night, right as the show was ending, that here on our side of things,
we weren't going to be doing Diddy.
No, you are obligated to do the news. But here over here, we're a Diddy-free zone.
You're not going to be doing it.
I
got you.
I'm not doing Diddy. I'm not doing Diddy.
I'm not doing diddly.
Not doing diddly with Diddy. Although now I'm kind of curious what's going on. It's nice to have Ken because I don't have to do him because, he takes care of that for us. He takes care of the nasty work. Speaking of nasty work, hey, how about these Menendez brothers? They might be getting out of jail.
Yeah.
What do you know about that?
What do you know? I mean,
It's been a long time, man.
I mean, come on. I mean, what has it been? 30 years or so?
I think. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. They just killed 2 people, their parents. No big deal. Changed their story, though, in emotional testimony earlier this week. They admitted, quote, full responsibility for their parents' murders. Tell us something we don't know.
I was getting ready to say.
I mean,
that's
you kind of knew that, right?
That's a bombshell.
Oh, but that's what it said. Well, they called it a bombshell decision by the Los Angeles Superior Court, and the judge there to re-sentence their original terms. Each brother spoke for about 10 minutes and offered a full admission to the crimes. Lyle Menendez spoke first and took responsibility for the cold-blooded killing of his parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in their Beverly Hills mansion in 1989. Okay. Well, I hope that you spend the rest of your lives in jail as a result of that. I was impulsive and immature, but whatever. Who cares? I'll tell you this. They don't need to be out of jail. And I have no idea why they're considering taking them out of jail. One way or the other, it's 30 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's time for the news.
WSMV4 News at 3 starts now with First Alert Weather.
3:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Kroger might have some explaining to do. Consumer Reports claims an investigation into customer complaints about pricing found that Kroger has charged more for items than what the price tag says because the price on the tags at the time had expired. They were more expensive from the shelf to checkout. The average overcharge they found was $1.70 per item, or about 18.5%. Kroger says it's working to address any possible discrepancies. The CDC announcing a major change in U.S. overdose deaths. Here's ABC's Sherry Preston.
An estimated 80,000 people died from drug overdoses last year, 30,000 fewer than in 2023. The 27% drop, the largest one-year decline ever reported in records going back 45 years. Experts say a lot more research needs to be done into why the numbers are falling so rapidly, but they do think the availability of the OD reversing naloxone and expanded addiction treatment are two big reasons.
And it's Day 3 of the federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs, and his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura testified about she texting Diddy in 2017 that she wanted no part of these so-called freak-offs anymore because she was embarrassed at how he treated her in front of other people and that she couldn't say exactly how many times he abused her. Ventura testified that after these marathon freak-offs, she and Combs would get intravenous fluids, massages, food, and often drugs to recover. Criminal defense lawyer Bernarda Villalona was in the courtroom for Ventura's 6-hour testimony yesterday.
I was dead focused on that jury to see what their reaction were, especially to the gruesome details of some of the nastiest parts of that sex escapade that Cassie Ventura actually underwent. But in terms of the jury, they were so focused on her every word.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane. This is going to be 40 westbound right there at the I-24-40 split downtown. Then Lebanon Pike at Briley Parkway. Police reporting a crash there in Donaldson. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, if you're looking to lose weight, there are ways to do that, to eat a little bit healthier. But in order to eat healthier, I don't know about you, but I had to go to Savory Spice. And you're wondering, well, why is that, Murphy? Because they have some of the delicious spices and seasonings and blends that make that healthy food taste good. I mean, it does. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, broccoli tastes like, well, broccoli until you put some delicious seasoning on it from Savory Spice, and then it tastes good. Whether it's lemon pepper or any of the other delicious flavors. I am a lemon pepper guy when it comes to broccoli myself. One way or the other, they can spice up veggies. They can spice up your meats. They can spice up all things that you make in the kitchen. They can help you out in the kitchen as well with their Spice and Easy line. The Spice and Easy line is pretty simple. On the back of the package, they tell you exactly what to buy at the grocery store. Then you put it in the crock pot or you assemble it in the manner in which you are directed to do so on the back of the package, and all of the seasonings are right there. You don't have to worry about, dishing them out and, figuring out, what is a tablespoon and what is a teaspoon. I don't understand any of that stuff. I got Savory Spice on my side. Friends, if you're an experienced chef, they already shop at Savory Spice. If you're new to the kitchen, you need to get over there. Plus, gift-giving galore at the one and only Savory Spice. Located just off the square in Franklin, go by and see Holly and David. Locally owned, locally operated, and good people besides. It's the one and only Savory Spice. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got to tell you, when I was younger, I didn't get nose hairs. I got one. I mean, we're family here.
Just one?
Weber. Well, I probably have more, but I got one that's
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah. That happens from time to time.
I'm going to get in there and pluck it.
It's painful. Make your eyes water.
Well, it just demonstrates that you're still living.
That's true.
Just woo. By the way, let me repair this. For those of you, what did Uncle Phil call him? Van Gogh?
Yes.
Call him Van Gogh list?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to repeat it. I am not besmirching anyone that lives in a mobile home. What I'm saying is, if you live in the trailer park, not in a trailer, in a trailer park, and you don't see the problem with that situation as a permanent form of housing, you're a loser. I'll stand by that. Trailer park. And I lived in a trailer park when I was a kid. I know exactly what trailer park living is like. And it's no fun. It's no fun. 20 minutes until 4 o'clock. Let's talk to our man, Michael Lotfy. He is Deputy Director of Americans for Prosperity here in the state of Tennessee. And I know that the folks over at AFP are very excited about tomorrow at high noon as we finally get the launch of the website that is going to provide relief to up to 20,000 Tennessee families. Michael, how's it going, my friend? You doing all right?
What's up, Matt? How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Loving life, enjoying this Wednesday afternoon, and loving the fact that we have finally gotten to the point. And this was, let's go back to the beginning. One of the reasons, and I know you guys at AFP have been fighting for this for some years, but one of the reasons that it was so important to get it done on the front end of this General Assembly in a special session was so that we could do this for the upcoming school year, and we didn't have to wait another calendar year and have these parents suffer in silence.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. It's funny. There were so many conspiracies about why we had to do a special session and so on, but the truth of the matter was always just the fact that, we wanted to make sure that parents were able to take advantage of this program for this coming school year, like you just said, and didn't have to wait a whole nother year to get control back over their tax dollars to help them pay for education for their children. So, as you alluded to, but you know what, Matt, hold on. I've got to, before we get too into school choice, man, you were talking about Mayor O'Connell earlier and what was going on with ICE and stuff. And I got to say really quick, Freddie is such a nice guy. He really is. He's got a big heart. I think he's just a little misguided on this policy, but what hurts the most, and, obviously AFP is fighting for school choice and we're going to talk about that, but, we're also fighting this tax increase in Nashville right now. Mayor's trying to raise property taxes, and I just think it is absolutely asinine that they're now giving taxpayer dollars to this community fund to help, the families of these illegal immigrants who are here, and all the while raising property taxes. It's like, where are your priorities, man? And Freddie's a nice guy, like I said. I just disagree with him on this policy position that he has. It's very unfortunate, but if anybody listening wants to help Pamela Furr, Sister Pamela, friend of the show, she's fighting really hard to try to stop this property tax hike. And, Mayor O'Connell, came out the other day and basically, demeaned anybody who was against this property tax hike, saying that we weren't for safe streets and so on. And it's like,
that was disgusting.
Man, come on.
It was just, I was sitting in the speech when he said it, and it was disgusting. And then he comes on my show later on that afternoon and denied that he said it.
Yeah, it's just so intellectually dishonest. And Freddie's better than that. He really is. Like I said, he's a nice guy. Freddie is so much better than that. I think he's being pulled in the wrong direction by the liberal base that doesn't actually represent Davidson County as a whole. And Freddie's better than that. I mean, he knows better than especially to call conservatives, not for, public safety and so on. It's just a matter of priority and where you're spending your money, man. And he knows that. And for him to be directing taxpayer dollars towards illegal immigrants right now, all while raising property taxes, it's just ridiculous. So if anybody wants to help Pamela stop this tax hike that's coming down the pipeline, find her on Facebook. All you have to do is search Pamela Furr. You'll find her on Facebook. Reach out to her, and she needs volunteers. She needs help, and let's get Nashville's priorities straight. And Freddie's better than this. Come on now. But back to school choice.
Well, and I will say one thing about what you just said, Michael. There is a slim, and I understand that it's a slim possibility that we can convince the Metro Council and the mayor that they will face ramifications and repercussions at the ballot box if they initiate a 27% property tax increase on top of the 34% increase that happened just 4 years ago. And you've got to show up in order to do that. You've got to, and we'll have the dates. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's crazy, Matt. He's in the same speech, he's talking about wanting to make it more affordable for Nashvillians to live. Well, I think the first thing you do is not raise property taxes on them. You know,
that's right.
I mean, come on now. But so back to school choice. Yes. So tomorrow is the big day. If you're a parent or grandparent listening to my voice right now, you want your kids out of public schools, you're not happy with them, or you're already in private schools and you need help paying for them. We now officially have school choice in Tennessee. The website launches at 12 p.m. Central tomorrow. for you to get in queue. So basically, this is very important. I want everyone to understand this. When you log in, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to, well, what I would do right now is I would go to tneducationfreedom.com. That's tneducationfreedom.com. And on that website, you'll find the checklist as well as the hyperlink for the website you'll go to tomorrow to actually get in queue. And what's going to happen is as soon as you log in tomorrow on that state website to get in queue, you'll enter into a virtual waiting room. And they're doing this so we don't have an Obamacare website, healthcare.gov website type of situation, for those who remember that fiasco, where the website will crash due to overwhelming demand. So you're going to enter a waiting room, a virtual waiting room, and you will sit there. Once you have entered the virtual waiting room, your spot is secured. That means that you are going to get the scholarship should you be approved. Your spot in line is secured. However, it will take probably 10, maybe 20, 30 minutes for you to clear that virtual waiting room before you can proceed with the rest of your application. So it's very important that you, when 12 o'clock rolls around, that you're in front of your computer, that your computer is charged, and that you don't plan to be anywhere or have to go anywhere for at least 30, 45 minutes to get this process done and taken care of. So you'll log in, you'll create your account. There's a checklist on the tneducationfreedom.com website that will tell you everything that you need to have to be ready for tomorrow, to sit down in front of your computer, all the documentation that you're going to need, etc., to apply for the scholarship. There are 20,000 spots available, so make sure that you're sitting there in front of the computer. This program will grow by 5,000 spots every single year. However, for year one, there's only 20,000 spots available. Very important to also realize that if you're a high-income earner, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to qualify for this. We firmly believe that everyone, no matter how much money they they make, they shouldn't be paying twice for schools. They shouldn't be paying twice for a public school that you're not using and then turning around and having to pay again for private schools. So 10,000 spots are reserved for lower-income families, and then 10,000 spots are reserved for any income. So don't think that just because you're a higher income earner that you're not going to be able to take advantage of this program and get your taxpayer dollars back. You absolutely are. And then, as I said, going forward every year, we're going to add 5,000 new spots. Very important to realize that once you do receive the scholarship, you will always get it going forward. This isn't just a one-year thing, a one-year, help or anything like that. You're going to get it every single year. So it's $7,000 per child per year. To take your kids out of failing public schools, or if you're already in a private school and you've already made that decision and your family's struggling, or you feel like it's not right that you're having to pay twice, well, now it's time to get you your money back.
I want you to respond to this because, you know all of the criticisms, by rote at this point, Michael, but we had a listener write in and say, so we're going to pay for students to attend private school that are already attending private school. I call BS. How do you respond to that?
I respond to that by saying, do you know how many parents have to sacrifice every single day just to get their kids out of a failing public school and put them in private school? They are bending over backwards. Some of them are working multiple jobs. Hell, one of our own employees, they barely scrape by every single year just to get their kids out of the failing public schools that they're in. And I think it's absolutely asinine to suggest that, just because someone's made that sacrifice, that they should continue to have to sacrifice and bend over backwards because the government demands that they continue to pay for public schools that they're not using because those public schools have failed their family.
Michael Lotfie's with us. He is Deputy Director of AFP. Michael, why was this such a priority? AFP as a special interest group, and that's not a pejorative to me. I think we're all special interest in our own way, but you guys do a great job with your organization. Why was this such a priority for you guys?
It's such a priority for us, Matt, because we are the one special interest group out there that is actually looking out for the taxpayer. Mm-hmm. We are always looking out for the individual. And that is what school choice is all about. It's about putting that choice back in the hands of the individual parents or grandparents to where and how their kids are going to be educated. It's a matter of agency. Who should control where your kids go to school and what they learn? The parent or the government who sets these standards by zip codes? It's a very simple answer. It's always the parents. And so that's what school choice is always about. That's what it's always been about. And for us, it's always been a fight of agency. It's who does that decision and that right belong to, and it belongs to the parents. No questions asked.
And you mentioned the first 10,000. Is it the first 10,000 that are reserved for lower income, and then it opens up for everyone else?
So there are 10,000 spots available for lower income families, and then there are 10,000 spots available for income of any family.
Right. Right.
We were going to do it just it's open to anybody regardless of how much money you make, but we did want to prioritize lower income first. So 10,000 will go to lower income first, and then 10,000 open to anybody. And then as next year rolls around and we add every year that the 5,000 new spots are added every single year, those are for any income level. We don't believe in class warfare, especially as Republicans, as conservatives. We don't believe in class warfare. It's very important to us that we made it universal in the sense that anybody could apply. Anybody can get this money back, and it shouldn't matter how much money you make because you shouldn't be paying twice for schools, one for public schools that you don't use, and then again for private schools.
No, I get it. But I also understand the prioritization to try to help those that are most in need right now, as opposed to those who have managed to afford it. I mean, I get it. I understand the debate, and the debate's to bed. I mean, the bill has been passed, and we're ready to go with the launch tomorrow. So the key points for tomorrow is that we expect, Michael, that there will be more than 20,000 individuals that are interested in these scholarships. I mean, is that your expectation too?
It's our expectation, and that's why they're going to put everybody into that virtual waiting room so that the website doesn't crash or anything like that. So again, very important to know that once you're in the waiting room, don't leave, don't turn your computer off, make sure your computer's charged. We do expect a lot of demand for this. And in fact, I will also add, Matt, that if anybody feels like you're not quite confident to do this on your own, I invite you to come to our office tomorrow in Antioch. You can look us up on Facebook. It's Americans for Prosperity Tennessee. Just type that into Facebook or find us on X. And you can reach out to Pamela Furr as well. Find her on Facebook. Come by our office. We're holding office hours tomorrow, and we'll have computers there, and we'll literally help you sign up for it.
Michael, thank you for everything that you guys have done to get this past the finish line. I believe in the general concept of school choice. I understand that people want to pick around the edges, but I love it. I think it'll be good for certainly the 20,000 Tennessee families that can take advantage of it first year, and it'll grow as the years go by. We appreciate your work on it, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers.
All right, take care. There's Michael Lotfy with Americans for Prosperity. Just explaining it to you. You go to tneducationfreedom.com, and you can find out more, and you can, there's a placeholder over there. Applications launch tomorrow. We're trying to get the governor on to talk about the program as it launches. We'll let you know how that goes as the program unfolds tomorrow. It's 53 after the hour. Comments on this? A lot of folks are angry because they say rich folks should not be allowed to apply for this. I don't know why we're punishing success necessarily. And the concept is that paying twice for educational opportunities for your kids isn't necessarily the way to go either. I understand why we should stagger it, and I agree with staggering it, lower income levels first, higher income levels second. But I also understand why you would open it up at some point to income levels of all sorts. 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Gentlemen, let's talk about your health. I understand that you don't talk about it often. I understand that a lot of men just want to, the old phrase, just rub some dirt on it, whatever. That's not the way it goes when it comes to life-changing developments that can happen in your 40s and your 50s regarding your testosterone levels. Your testosterone matters, men, because it can impact your intimacy in your romantic relationships. If this is the case, Let's get this handled by going to Tennessee Men's Clinic. Tennessee Men's Clinic has appointments available for you. One of their qualified urologists will talk with you, sit down with you, and before you leave, they'll get some blood work done. They'll find out what your T levels are. You'll know what your plan of action is before you leave the clinic on the first day, and it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg to make this appointment. Let's do this, and let's get back right again with intimacy with your romantic relationship through the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or make the call that so many others have made, 615-208-9090, 208-9090.
A Tennessee congressman calling for a federal investigation of Nashville city leaders for obstructing ICE operations in the city. And check those grocery receipts. Items at checkout might cost more than the price tag on the shelf. Details at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man, oh man, Kroger's got problems. Tell you what, I tell you where I pay a lot. That Whole Foods. I need to check them out too. That's crazy.
They're just expensive.
Oh, is that right? They have some fancy cereal.
Opinion, yeah.
They have some fancy cereal down that cereal aisle. Have
you
you
got
seen
prizes in the box?
No, they just
I don't want it.
It's that hippie crap, granola and all that.
Nah.
By the way, a lot of you.
Crap.
I mean, it is. I mean, a lot of you were upset about the conversation that we just had about scholarships. How about this? If you want to get upset, let me throw this out to you. I don't believe that childless people should be forced to spend their taxpayer dollars to send your kids to school. How about that? I don't believe that it's a state responsibility to educate your children. I think if you have children, that is your responsibility to pay for the education of your children. You tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why it's my responsibility to pay for your kids. I mean, if we want to go down this road, y'all mad about the scholarship? Let's get mad about public schools.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Tennessee 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles calling for an investigation into Nashville leadership for obstructing ICE operations in the city. Ogles was speaking directly to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem during a House committee meeting this morning.
I will be asking the Committee of Homeland Security and Judiciary to be looking into the mayor of Nashville and any collusion or impeding of federal authorities and conducting their work in the city of Nashville.
Channel 4's Lydia Fielder picks up our coverage from here.
Representative Ogles accused Mayor O'Connell of criticizing and verbally attacking law enforcement over the recent ICE operations. He instructed law enforcement to report any communications with federal authorities. Last week, Mayor O'Connell issued an executive order aimed at tracking interactions with those federal immigration authorities after city leaders say they were not aware of the traffic stops happening between THP and ICE.
Department of Homeland Security says ICE arrested 196 illegal immigrants in Nashville during the joint public safety operation with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Check those receipts. Consumer Reports claims an investigation into customer complaints shows that people paid way more than the price tag showed on the shelf at Kroger because those price tags were outdated. That means they rang up a lot more at the checkout. The average overcharge, about $1.70 per item. Consumer Reports says many of the items in question had outdated sales tags. Kroger says it's working to address the possible discrepancies. President Trump continues his three-nation Mideast trip today in Qatar. He got a warm welcome, landing in Doha with music, singing, and a military greeting. Shortly after landing, the president and the emir sat down for talks.
We've been friends for a long time. Hard to believe, right? Remember that first meeting very well. And we've liked each other and we've worked with each other. And now we can work in the highest capacity.
President said Qatar has agreed to buy jets from Boeing, about 160 of them worth $200 billion. Back here in Middle Tennessee, frustrated drivers in Williamson County, listen up. Franklin's budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year includes a highly anticipated road widening project. It'll be Mack Hatcher Southeast from Murfreesboro Road to Columbia and Mack Hatcher Northwest from Hillsborough Road to New Highway 96 from 2 to 4 lanes. As part of the proposed budget for Franklin, water and sewer rates would go up by 6% and 5% respectively starting January 1st. You ready for some football? We learned the Titans 2025 scheduled tonight. The NFL will be releasing full schedules at 7 o'clock Middle Tennessee time. And get this, YouTube will stream the NFL Week 1 game between the Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil for free. It's the first time YouTube has ever broadcast a live NFL game in its entirety. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane. Then the right shoulder blocked by a crash 40 eastbound at I-24 downtown. In Franklin, police reporting a crash 65 southbound at I-840. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, oh man, I got everybody's panties in a wad by using the loser word last hour, referring to trailer park people. Y'all need to lighten up Francis, okay? Lighten up Francis. Y'all calm down. Everything's going to be fine. You know, I can't imagine that. Well, I mean, I guess maybe by percentage, there are more folks that live in trailer parks listening to the show this time of day because surely they're not at work.
Just keep digging that hole, man. I'm not bailing you out. The rope ain't long enough.
Y'all, I'm just
I was going to say, you and Dan Mandis, you guys got the same shovel?
I'm just kidding. Y'all need to calm it down. And whether it's 0152, he's all mad at. I mean, y'all are all mad at me. Y'all just need to calm down. It'll be okay. Everything will be all right. Just a little tough love from the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now, when it comes to, and I understand there's a robust, aggressive disagreement on this scholarship fund, and has been since it was debated a couple of years ago. When I first got here, it was being debated. Did not pass the second year that I was here, and then eventually got past this past session. Look, I look at things a little odd, okay? I'm a weirdo. I hope that you agree with me a majority of the time, but I hope you don't agree with me all of the time because I got mental issues. So, I'm just saying. But when it comes to public education is by definition not going to be as good as education that involves parental choice. Anytime you force individuals into a given system and the system knows that people are forced into that system, you're not going to get as good customer service as you normally would. Let me give you an example. If I told you that from now, we're talking about Kroger, right? And Ken Weaver's telling you that apparently there's some overcharging going on. If I told you that from now on, I'm going to send a letter to everyone listening to me. And in that letter is going to be the grocery store that you have to go to buy bread. You may not go to any other grocery store. You have to go to, and we're doing this to try to distribute the money to any given grocery store. And we want to make sure that every grocery store has an equitable amount of customers coming to it. And to best benefit you, we're going to select a grocery store near you. And that grocery store has to provide certain things, and they will do so, and you will give them money, and you have to shop there. Do you think the customer service at that grocery store is going to get better or worse? Now apply the same principles to public education. Infusing competition into that system is going to help that system. That is the ultimate goal. Not just to move money to private ed, not just to pay for private ed, but to better the system as it is available to the users. Now, that said, I look at this very differently, especially differently than people who currently have kids in the system, because I pay into a system that I don't see any direct benefit from. And I would suggest that maybe it's not the taxpayer's responsibility to pay for the education of your children. maybe if you make a decision to have children, that is your responsibility to singularly pay for your children's education. Not my responsibility, not the taxpayers, not society's responsibility, your responsibility. I've always found it awkward and odd that we've determined that it is the taxpayer or society's responsibility to pay for K through 12, but once it comes to higher ed, that suddenly is the responsibility of the parent or the student. It's just weird to me. Like, why did we determine that that's where the line is? Why doesn't the line stop at 6th grade or at 8th grade? Why is it 12th grade? Just an interesting quirk in the system. But I think differently about these things. We've been covering the Freddie O'Connell response to Tennessee Highway Patrol and the Immigration and Custom Enforcement safety checks for some time now, and we thought we'd get a different voice on here about it because there are new developments locally that you need to know about. Jason Weekly is the chairman of GOP in Davidson County, and he joins us in studio to talk about the latest developments in Davidson County regarding the mayor, the Metro Council, and their response to some of these safety checks. Hello, Jason.
Hey, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
So let's start here. Freddie O'Connell's response. He said, and I have the clip. I could play it. I don't want to hear from him. You've heard it.
Yeah.
He said, this doesn't make our cities less safe or more. It makes us less safe.
It's not our values.
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand what our mayor's smoking. I mean, we saw the laundry list of criminals that have been taken off the streets.
Yeah.
Do you support the actions of the Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I don't understand how the chief executive of the city would violate his own oath of office. I mean, he's sworn to protect us. I mean, he's the chief executor of the law, so he has to. But I do not understand why he's doing it. It's not a issue of Nashville. Like, we're not San Francisco. So I don't know what he's aiming for and angling for other than maybe donors.
And maybe he's just trying to talk to his base.
Yeah.
And reassure his base that he's here for them. At the same time, I've not heard him respond to some of the individual accounts of the people that have been taken off the streets. I would love to hear a response, right? He says it doesn't make our community less safe, but I'm looking at child predators and other criminal individuals that have been taken off the streets as a result of these safety.
I mean, I live in the Antioch area. These are people that live near me. And, they were around. I didn't actually see them, but I did hear of some of the neighborhoods near me in Antioch that had, THP and ICE present. These communities have people of the same nationality. Many times it's mixed, people who have come here illegally, people who here illegally. But I've always lived in a major city, and there's kids on the street just trying to avoid gangs. Their parents are worried about them coming home at the end of the day. I would rather have the Trende Aragua guy picked up and never seen or heard from again. I mean, send him home. They're terrorizing the neighborhoods of families that are from Venezuela, from Colombia, from Peru. Pick any country in Latin America. We've got the communities here, and the bad guys from home are here, and they didn't come here to see the bad guys.
Well, and if you want, and if we want to get down to where, kind of in the weeds, if you subdivide even the illegal alien community amongst those that came here for jobs, that came here for employment and are just laying low, they're not really committing any other criminal behavior or any criminal activity.
Right.
Those people are being preyed upon by these bad guys.
Right.
These bad guys know that they can prey on individuals who are not in America legally because they're afraid to go to the police and report some of the criminal behavior.
They may have just walked across the border and that's the only crime they've committed.
Right.
But, they're not going to call 911. It's just awful situation for people that, they are human. We're all human beings at the end of the day. We want to be safe in our homes.
Sure.
But, the city is creating an environment for lawlessness, and I fully support THP and ICE coming in here and doing the job that the city just refuses to do.
Do you believe, I saw this video that Chief John Drake put out. He had some sort of press conference. And I'm watching this video, and he says that your immigration status doesn't matter to the Metro Nashville Police Department. And my question was, why not? It looked, I mean, I've never met John Drake. I've heard good things about him. I've heard that he's a good man and he's trying his best. But it almost came off as a hostage video to me, like he was told to go out by the mayor or someone within the mayor's office and say these things. I'm wondering if Freddie O'Connell, John Drake, or anybody else, in your opinion, has crossed to that line and gotten to the point where they are ignoring their responsibility to the community or actually aiding and abetting the lawbreakers.
I thought it was really interesting that Freddie O'Connell came out a few days ago, I forget exactly when, but saying all, immigration, requests, ICE requests must flow up to the mayor's office. And he, quote unquote, streamlined that communications process so that all of those requests would have to be approved by him. So it feels like he's taking the steering wheel by both hands. And so he may very well have issued a directive to Chief Drake. I mean, he's appointed by the mayor, so he really does have to do whatever Freddie wants him to do. So the only independent police officer in this whole situation is the sheriff's office, but they just have detention authority.
Responsibilities,
yeah,
right.
They don't arrest people. So,
and it's my understanding the sheriff's office is complying with ICE.
I believe so, but I mean, like I said, they're just detention. So
right.
when ICE requested last weekend, they called MNPD to have extra patrols in the area, and that's really what triggered this whole thing, because people, the liberals in town, their hair caught fire because they saw MNPD next to THP.
And this leads us to this latest development regarding the Nashville Community Review Board. Help me understand. What is the Nashville Community Review Board?
Well, it's renamed and repackaged from the Community Oversight Board back when we were defunding the police and, hating cops. So that's their role. They're independent, but they're funded by your tax dollars. Your property taxes and sales taxes go to fund this organization. And yesterday, 24 hours ago, they posted on Twitter that, if you have seen, let me read it verbatim so I don't misquote. Your voice matters. If you believe you saw a police officer participating in an immigration operation, you can file a confidential complaint. We support language services, bad grammar, through our online portal. So, and then they provide a phone number. And all I saw this immediately when it went up. I just reshared it and told people to call the phone number and politely request and that they stop doing that because it's a violation. That's not good policing, and protest that you're using my tax dollars.
So why would anyone file a complaint if they saw a police officer participating in an immigration operation?
I don't know. I mean,
the suggestion there is that is somehow in violation of their sworn oath to protect and to serve the community.
I called last night and got voicemail, but I called back again today, and I spoke to a very nice professional operator. We had a good conversation. She said that the Community Oversight or Community Review Board is there to facilitate complaints against Metro Police. It's usually used for internal purposes. That kind of asked her, why did you put it on Twitter?
Right.
But she said that if any police officer is in violation of the policies and procedures of the department, then this is kind of like, the internal tip line. A lot of places where you work, they have the break room phone number, call this for waste, fraud, and abuse or whatever. So that's what she explained it as. And I said, well, I would like to file a complaint against Chief Drake because he is violating his oath of office to protect and serve the citizens of Nashville by refusing to do his job. So
that's fair.
I mean, that's what she just said to me. So I repeated it back to her and filed a formal complaint against Chief Drake. And
so you have filed a complaint against Chief Drake?
I have. I'm eagerly anticipating that return phone call.
I encourage anyone to, did they leave the telephone number?
Yes, it is. You want it?
Yeah, I do.
615-880-1801.
Do it one more time.
615-880-1801.
So 615-880-1801. I would encourage folks to call and perhaps file a complaint against Chief Drake.
And we're telling people, these are
be polite.
Telephone operators. This is their day job. Don't be mean to them.
Right. They're not responsible for setting this policy.
Yeah. Just tell them you want to file a formal complaint against Chief Drake, and he's not following his oath of office.
And let's see how far that gets us. Now, with Freddie O'Connell, I don't expect it'll get us very far. Here's Freddie from the other day, and I want to play this. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with Jason Weekly. He's with GOP Nashville, and we will play Freddie O'Connell and get his reaction to this, plus some of your reaction, whether it's Mike or Ken or Matt. We'll get to you as we can. It is the Matt Murphy Show. A Wednesday edition continues right after this on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for Stoltz Co. I was speaking with Will from Stoltz Co. just earlier today, and I've got some very, very, very exciting news. You know, Stoltz Co. for years now, they have been your go-to high-quality custom structure place, right? They are the leading company in customer service and the creation of post-frame buildings, such as barn dominiums, pole barns, garages, equestrian, and event spaces. But they have now introduced and announced that they have literal turnkey service. In other words, a lot of people want to have a lot to do with the ins and outs of what they're creating inside of their home. But if you're looking for something where from the beginning to the end, they can take care of all of the construction and all of the interiors of your barn dominium, they can now offer you that at Stoltz Co. as well. Find out what we're talking about. It is a cut above the standard post frame building. Whether it's that barn dominium, that pole barn, that garage, that equestrian space, that event space, they will have it to you. I mean, and these are incredible structures. You just have to see them to understand them. Go to stoltzco.com. That's STOLTZCO.com to see some of these incredible structures and ask about the turnkey service that they're providing now, where they will literally take care of everything from beginning to the end of your project, hand you the keys, and you are ready to move in. 615-622-5992, 622-5992 for Stoltz Co.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
We've learned new details, including the name of the victim from a shooting overnight near Belmont University. Also, Kroger under investigation for pricing. These stories and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A few minutes before we have to say goodbye to Jason Weekly. I'll get to your telephone calls on school choice, your telephone calls on immigration, all of these things coming up in just a couple of minutes right after the news. And I will suffer all of the slings and arrows for those of you who are mad at me about my trailer park comments. I mean, that's okay. And I was wondering when I would get one of these. 7808 says, "Hey, Matt, the Grand Old RV Resort called. They're still holding your spot when you're ready to come back. Have a good day." Yes, my camper's there right now, as a matter of fact. Ready to go. I'm trying to convince Tommy to let me Airbnb the thing. He won't do it. He won't let any subletting occur at the RV park.
It's a good living.
I mean, I figured,
you can make some money.
I mean, that's what I thought. It's nice.
Yeah.
Nice little camper. Jason Weekly is with us with the Davidson County GOP talking about just this nonsense out of the mayor's office. In the few minutes that we have left, though, and by the way, we're going to give those telephone numbers again because several people have said they've called and left messages. So we'll do that again. If you want to call the Nashville Community Review Board. I just want you to respond to this real quick, and then I want to talk property taxes. Here's Freddie O'Connor.
Everything in my power consistent with applicable law to protect anyone who calls Nashville home. What's clear today is that people who do not share our values of safety and community have the authority to cause deep community harm. We're still working to determine more about what happened over the weekend, but what we know right now, based on public statements, is that state and federal officials coordinated without us to engage in traffic enforcement actions clearly intended to target immigration concerns.
If I didn't know better, it would sound like we were invaded by someone.
Right.
Like,
I mean, they're essentially announcing that they consider Nashville, Freddie and the Metro Council considers Nashville to be a sanctuary city without declaring that we're a sanctuary city.
He's mad because they didn't call and ask permission first.
Well, and what would he have said if they had? He would. I mean, I think he would have outed them.
Yeah.
I mean, he had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he has zero authority to stop it.
I mean, that's what the city council members are actively engaging in email and social media campaigns to tell people, alert the community. I mean, that's why the Community Review Board put their phone number out there. They want to tattletale, and they're trying to look for lookouts and, getaway cars. If you were robbing a bank and you were the lookout or the getaway car, you're going to jail for accomplice.
Once again, this belonging fund, they're being really slippery with it because I don't think that's taxpayer money, but the Nashville Community Review Board is.
Yes, but Turk also has received funds from Metro Council in the past. So if they hadn't received money from Metro Council, they wouldn't have been able to give $30,000 to seed the fund. Now, I'm not saying they received $30,000 last week, but they've been a regular receiver of funds.
Well, and I know how that works too. You dump money in a big pool, and then you take it out on the other end, and you claim it's not the same money when we know very well sometimes it is.
Yes.
That's interesting. Give us the review board number again, because many people want this.
It's 615-880-1801.
So call that and just say you want to issue a complaint. The word is you want to issue a complaint to Chief John Drake for
violating his oath of office.
Right.
I mean, he has a duty to protect and serve all of us. I mean, exactly what Freddie just said, except he flipped it and reversed it.
Real quick on the property tax, only a minute or so left, but talk to me about this property tax. I mean, the effort is not dead, right?
No, it's not. I mean, we have about 6 or 7 more weeks of this fight to go. If you go to our website, gopnashville.org, we have a big call to action at the top of the page. We have listed on that page all of the dates that City Council is meeting, the Budget Committee is meeting, actions that we're doing. We have a phone bank tomorrow in Antioch at Tailgate Pizza. If you like beer and pizza, come see us.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do some phone banking. We'll get you trained real quick, and then you can do phone banking from home. So you can do it anytime you want. And then we're going to do door knocking on Saturday. So get on my website, gopnashville.org. and follow us there. Get in, there's a sign-up sheet for volunteers, but we've got the dates and times for you to get involved. You can sign up that way. You don't have to give me your email and phone number, but I sure would like it.
Well, I mean, the fight is not dead on that front. I know that is an uphill battle, but it's an uphill battle that we need to engage in.
And for stuff like this, exactly. I mean, your property taxes are being used to fund the Community Review Board and Freddie's, donations to nonprofit charities that fuel the Democratic machine. I mean, I'm mad about it. Everybody else should be.
I mean, ultimately, your property tax dollars that they're going up on 27%, they're going to nonsense like this.
Yes.
And we need to put a stop to it.
Yes.
Jason, thank you for being in the fight.
Thank you.
GOPNashville.org.
Yeah.
No, almost we got it wrong.
Nonprofit.
GOPNashville.org. 32 after the hour. It's time for Ken Weaver's newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes, and we've learned more about the shooting death of a man whose body was found near Belmont University overnight. Homicide unit detectives with Metro Nashville Police think it was robbery related because the victim's phone was found, but not his wallet. 26-year-old Dana Corley was found at 4:30 this morning with multiple gunshot wounds in the driver's seat of a black Nissan Altima after it had crashed into a tree near the intersection of 16th Avenue South and Wedgwood Avenue. And listen up, Middle Tennessee. A Consumer Reports investigation turns up some questions about grocery chain Kroger. Here's Sherry Preston.
Consumer Reports, The Guardian, and the Food Environment and Reporting Network recruited shoppers over the past 3 months to spot check prices at Kroger and Kroger-owned stores like Fred Meyer and Ralph's. They found that the typical Kroger shopper ends up paying far more for what they think are discounted items, everything from Cheerios and dog food to instant coffee and salmon. Consumer Reports says many of the items in question had outdated sales tags that rang up as a lot more when people went to check out. Kroger says it's working to address the possible discrepancies. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
And here at Tennessee, parents who want to take advantage of Tennessee's new school voucher program, be ready to apply tomorrow.
Applications open tomorrow, May 15th at noon, and the awards are limited. There are 20,000 scholarships available for $7,300 apiece. The first 10,000 will include income restrictions, but the rest will not. And these scholarships are for students enrolled in either public school or those who are already attending a private school. There is a website where you can check out the eligibility list and sign up for email updates. That website is tneducationfreedom.com. Joan Jones, WTN News.
Officials say to be at your computer at noon and be ready to set aside about an hour to get all that done tomorrow whenever the application window opens. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Napier got a crash reported by police. Right shoulder block 40 eastbound at I-24 downtown. Then south side 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane. Police say there's a crash. Franklin, police reporting a crash 65 southbound at I-840. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, comprehensive medicine. You know, wherever you are on this conversation about pharmaceutical companies and the pharmaceutical industry, know this. They've taken way too much input into your doctor-patient relationship. They have way too much say, as do the insurance companies. And sadly, that has affected how doctors do their work. Well, at Grace Point Healthcare, they will never let anyone else get in the way between your relationship with Grace Point, with the medical staff. At Grace Point, there's never a long wait time. They are a direct pay provider. Why? Because they want you to know exactly what you're paying, and they want you to know that insurance companies aren't dictating their service to you. They're going to find the right path for you, whatever your health care issue might be. They're going to treat naturally whenever possible. They believe that you know best with consultation with your doctor, and that's what they're all about. So ask them about their Smart Care plan or give them a call and schedule an appointment today, 599-6868, 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare. You can afford exceptional medicine at your convenience. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Defend Systems is your one-stop shop for all things life safety and security consultation here in Middle Tennessee. I would encourage you to contact Defend Systems today and schedule an appointment with Brink or one of his team members. Defend Systems, simply put, helps you if you are a business owner, if you're a decision maker within a business, or any place that people gather. Figure out exactly how to consult with your staff, your individuals that are in your facility on a regular basis under workplace violence prevention, active shooter response, security improvement consultation, emergency and intruder action plans, and rapid response medical training. And they customize all of this to your individual facility. 615-236-6484 is the telephone number. 615-236-6484. Go to defendsystems.com. Once again, it's defendsystems.com. Remember, hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained with Defend Systems. All right, I'm ready for my beating on the phone lines. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. I'm looking over here on the YouTube chat. Crazy place over there. A lot of discussion going on regarding responsibility for one's children, scholarship funds, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you all for participating over there. If you're participating on the Super Talk text line, I thank you for that as well. And I certainly thank you for calling in. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. Question: if there are 20,000 scholarship spots first year, and once the system people maintain their scholarship year to year, then there are 25,000 second year. Are those in addition to the original 20,000 for a total of 45,000, or will there be available new spots only being the difference between the 25,000 and the total number of students continuing from 1 year to the second year? My answer to that is I was told that there would be no math. Thank you. No, in all seriousness, the answer is that there are 20,000 scholarships. They have an ability to add 5,000 per year. Once you're in the system, then you are there until your child graduates from the system. So you have the scholarship available to you per child. Obviously, there will be people that leave the system, either leave the state, move away, child graduates, whatever. If that's the case, then those scholarships become available, but you'd cap at year 2 at 25,000. You would cap at year 3, in theory, at 30,000, and so forth and so on. And I hope that that answers your question. Also, same person, 5637, says, I dare you to read this on air. I bet you won't. All right. I haven't read it yet, but here we go. Families with no kids, family with large quantity of kids, hard to come up with a perfectly equitable system as far as cost to all taxpayers. Long ago, publicly funded education, 12 years long, was determined to be in the interest of the greater good of society in general. Schools were not a disaster back then, so it all worked a whole lot better. Once the ass-kissing contest started, schools quickly went to hell. In a relevant example, what if I only want to pay for the roads I drive on or use? No, I understand the argument for public education. I would suggest that having children is a choice. Traveling is not necessarily a choice in a free and open society. You have to travel in order to engage in business or other societal activity. You don't necessarily have to have kids. But when you do, you can choose to educate them in a manner of your own choosing. That's what I would say to that. Mike is next up in Old Hickory. Hey, Mike.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm great, Mike. I hope you are.
Well, I'm doing pretty good, but every day I wake up and I see all the crap going on, and I just wanted to ask you a question. Are you familiar with the first 100 days of Congress, the GOP-controlled Congress, Senate, and House, that they have failed completely in sending President Trump bills to be passed? And so in the reporting out from Newsmax is it's the worst performance of a Congress in the first 100 days of a majority-controlled presidency, Congress, and Senate. Worst performance. What I'm asking you is, do you believe that? And I do, because I don't see anything getting passed. All I hear is that Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump did this. But I'm not seeing Congress did this, Congress did that, Congress did this. Nothing has been passed. And the last thing, Matt, is I just saw on Newsmax that the Nashville mayor, and confirm this or not, that he has just said that he's not going to conform to the executive order of Trump to get rid of these illegal immigrants. And so if that's true, how did Nashville, the capital of our great state, become a blue, antichrist, atheist, socialist, communist city?
When did we decide that the entire city was to blame for the comments of Freddie O'Connor? I don't know what atheism has to do with any of this.
Democrats, socialist, communists, they don't believe in God.
Well, I disagree with that, Mike. I think it's silly to say that all Democrats don't believe in God.
I said atheists, Democrats are not part of the Democrat Party that we used to know when I moved here in 1986. The Democrats are the party of atheists, communists. They don't believe in God. They don't believe right and wrong. They don't believe that.
I mean, I know that many Democrats, particularly Democrats in leadership, they bow before the altar of government. I understand that. But I don't want to cast aspersions for the entire city of Nashville, especially when there are a lot of conservatives that live in Nashville.
Yeah, and there are conservatives that live in Nashville.
I mean, you live in Old Hickory?
That have moved.
Are you in Old Hickory?
I'm sorry?
Are you in Old Hickory?
Yeah, I live in Old Hickory outside of Nashville, Davidson County.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in Davidson County because it got taken over by these blueies, these people that come in from California, New York, New Jersey, because they love the fact that we have low taxes and this and that. But then you look at the leadership of our political party in Davidson County. I'm not talking about Wilson or surrounding. That's why the outsized surrounding counties are growing so fast, because we see and we've seen Nashville.
Well, I mean, it is a natural progression of major metropolitan areas that they prey on the stupid.
You remember our sister city in Austin, Texas?
I'll just stop myself. I was right in the middle of that sentence, but I'll stop it, Mike. That's okay. Go ahead.
You remember our sister city in Austin, Texas? Yeah. What have they become?
Mike, are you listening to anything I say?
Well, I'm trying to,
Okay.
but you're just trying to get me off the fact
no,
that
I'm not.
I'm never going to become blue. I'm never going to become Asian.
I'm not
you
asking.
Look at Austin, Texas, our sister city. Austin, Texas. Now is blue.
Can we just talk?
Atheist,
Can we just?
socialist,
Can we just
communist.
talk? Can we talk? Stop. Can we
Sure,
just talk?
sure. All right, sure.
Get off the talking. Just talk to me. Just
All right.
me and you talking.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's the natural result of these major metropolitan areas that they prey on the stupidity of less informed voters, and they become blue. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's not a fault of Nashville's specifically, but it is a byproduct of metropolitan communities, and I could name all of them. Austin's one of them.
Yep.
You know, Texas is a red state, right? Dallas is a blue city.
Yep.
You know, and on and on and on down the line. I mean, Georgia is a relatively red state, but Atlanta has become such a blue blob in the middle of it that they're now purple, for goodness sake.
Yep.
And we have really three major areas of blue in the state of Tennessee. We've got Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville.
Yep. And that's where the votes come from, the number of votes in elections. And that's what I'm saying is that the Democrats and the liberals have identified just 6, 7, 8 cities in the country that can turn elections. And that's why when you look at a blue map or heat map or whatever they call it, you know, during election night, and you got that whole country up there, 95% is red. The other 5% is blue. And that's where our country is going because that's who elects presidents. And people need to understand that. They don't. They think that, well, my vote counts when I go vote. It doesn't, especially if those 6, 7, 8 cities, including now Nashville, decide to go blue. We don't have a vote. And what I'm telling you right now, Matt,
You don't have a vote in city elections because you don't live in the city, Mike. That's not how elections work.
And that's why I moved. That's why I live in Wilson County. But I'm telling you, right out here, we're even seeing what's happening in Davidson County. We're seeing Lebanon, Watertown, Mount Juliet. They were growing.
Where do you live?
Old Hickory. That's Wilson County. And that's in the very northwest part of Wilson County.
Okay.
We've been growing out here for 20 years. When I first moved here, there was nothing out here. Now it's people from Nashville saying, I want to live under this property tax increase. What am I getting for it? You know, I don't want to listen to this DEI stuff Nashville is pushing. I'm going to move out here. But then guess what? People are figuring out, hey, Tennessee's a great place to live. Maybe Wilson County, where we've stopped this movement towards the west.
Well, you've given. I mean, Mike, I don't mean to interrupt, but you it's clear you've given up on David. I've yet to give up on Davidson County. I have it as a question in front of me, and thank you, Mike, for the call. Is Nashville? I mean, Nashville's clearly at a tipping point. Davidson County's at a tipping point. But I don't think that people in the surrounding communities need to give up on Davidson County. To do so would be, I think, dramatic in your own communities. Mike, I appreciate the call, and I wasn't trying to argue with you. I was just trying to communicate with you a little bit better, and that it helps. I try to listen. I know that sometimes I fail. I try to listen, and it helps if you try to listen too. And then I talk and you listen, and then you talk and I listen. That's how that works. Matt is next in Nashville with a thought on school choice. Matt, I'm glad you called.
Hey, how's it going,
I'm doing
Matt?
well. Thank you.
Great name. So I live in Davidson County, and I kind of live in the area where it's like you go one direction towards like Sam's Club, and it's like there's a guy trying to wash your windows. And then you go the other way, and it's Oak Hill, and it's like the most expensive stuff in the world. So, like, we have a good elementary school, but we're about to move, or, like, at least have to move in a couple of years because my daughter's going to be in 5th grade.
Wait,
basically,
yeah, go ahead.
So, basically, it's like whenever, like, we're doing this, so it's like this whole thing is set up. There's 1 million kids in the state of Tennessee. There's a looks like per like data from like a couple years back, like there's 115,000 in private school. So it's like this whole system is set up for private school. Like it's not set up to make the public schools better. And I know you have an argument one way, and the other guy's like, I don't know, you shouldn't have to pay twice. Well, he's literally like, they're advocating for like making private school subsidized. It's not like Florida. It's not like where you can like, hey, you can get homeschool dollars, because that's our other option, because we have 4 kids. And I just did a quick look. There's like 5 private schools under 7K in the city, like in Nashville. And so like we're either moving from Davidson County to put our kids in public school, or we are going to do like have to homeschool, and there's no like money there. So it's like basically we're kind of stuck, because it's like this whole system doesn't really help anybody unless you're already in private school.
Well, it could help you if you wanted to subsidize the cost of even a private education that exceeds the $7,000 scholarship.
I mean, the ones across the street are like $10,000, and then you go the other way, it's like kind of in like a hole where there's like a whoever sings whoever, and it's like $4,000, and it's kind of like got 600 or got like 300 kids, and it's garbage. Or you've got the really nice schools on Franklin Road, but like you don't, or you're driving your kids 30 minutes, and it's like, who's got time for that? Like this is a private school. This is a private school lobby bill. This is like going to help a couple people, but it's not really helping. Like, let's fix the public schools.
How do we fix public schools, man?
You fix it by advocating. You fix it by people talking. Like, I'm thinking about running for school board or getting into council. Like, this is like ridiculous. And you fix it at the source. You fix it with the family, with that Whitlock stuff. Like, you fix it that way. You don't fix it by handing out more stuff, because all these schools are going to put, like, they're going to raise it.
But here's the deal, though, man. And I don't mean to. But every time I start talking about that, I get accused of racism, because I point the finger at the Metro Nashville school system, and I'm told, oh, you're just doing that because it's a minority system.
Well, they're stupid. Who cares? You know that. So it's like,
well, but they're also in charge.
Yeah,
Adrian Battle's in charge.
You're the one doing the educating. Like, keep this going. Like, I almost, like, if I didn't have a doctor's appointment, like, I would have been out there at the courthouse. Like, do the good work you're doing and, like, keep this going, because it's like we have to get involved. I've got 2 homes in Davidson County. I've got 4 kids. And, like, I'm not about to let my kids go through this garbage. Like, I'm like, we had this, like, my daughter got sent home with a paper with, like, an Islamic flower, like the Islamic star crest thing, as like a picture of it. And I was like, hey, we can cover it up and you can put a cross or like whatever. But it's like literally sitting home, Davidson County, Islamic like crescent and star. Like, I mean, that kind of crap comes home, and you got to like, hey, no, we're not going to celebrate that. You know? And
just to be clear where I'm at on this, and you know, it's a conversation that we could have all day today and all week. But I'm not advocating. I'm advocating for anything that gives parents more ability to have a choice as to what type of education their children get. I'm not suggesting that this is perfect. I'm not suggesting that people in private school currently won't take advantage of it. I am suggesting that it is a first-come, first-serve system starting tomorrow at 12 o'clock, right? So if the first 20,000 people that get in the queue are kids in public education, then it won't help privately educated kids. It's all a matter of who wants it and who can work it out. Now, I understand exactly what you're saying, Matt, when you talk about, well, the kids who are currently in public education are probably less likely to be able to take advantage because their parents maybe don't have the money to subsidize the cost of private school above and beyond the $7,000. I get all of that. But my basic goal is to infuse competition in the public education system, because I don't believe that until you get competitive forces within that system, you're going to see an improvement in public schools.
Right, but that's a one metric, that's one lever, and you're going to get people that
it is the most basic thing that needs to happen in any system that you bring up. If there is a monopolistic system, the system is going to get worse for the end consumer. Anything you tell me, right? So it's the most basic thing that we can do to create a better system.
I'm pro-competition. I'm not pro handout, and so it's,
and I gotta. I'm sorry that I do. I've got to scoot. I'm being told that I got the scoot signal. I rarely get the scoot signal, Matt. I love the conversation. I love the passion. Thank you for it. We'll be back in a moment. Friends, I got the message from Dr. Brian McLaughlin. I told you about this yesterday. I'm so pleased that he communicated with me and told me that it looks like my sleep device, my FDA-approved device, is working A-OK for me, and I absolutely love it. He said, Matt, I have your results. The test that you did, they came back great. Your original sleep test from January of 2024 had your AHI, that's the number of times you stop breathing per hour, at 35.8. That's considered severe. And when I did my sleep test just last week, it showed my AHI with the appliance was 2. That's from 35 to 2. And anything below 5 is considered no sleep apnea. That's great. That means I'm sleeping better. That means I'm getting more energy. That means I'm not stopping breathing throughout the course of the night. And you could be next. Go to TennesseeSleep.com to find out how Dr. Brian McLaughlin, Dr. Stephen Poss, and the rest of the team can assist you. If you're concerned about your sleep, if you don't feel energetic in the morning, or if you know that you have sleep apnea or you snore, let's get with the program. Let's get with Tennessee Sleep. The Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center can be found at TennesseeSleep.com. That's TennesseeSleep.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Tennessee 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles asking for a federal investigation of Nashville city leaders for obstructing ICE operations. He announced it during a House committee hearing today with Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Instead of thanking you and your leadership and thanking the president, the mayor of Nashville criticized and attacked law enforcement verbally. He then instructed members of law enforcement to report any communication with federal authorities. He then directed the Police Community Oversight Board to direct citizens to file complaints against law enforcement if they cooperate with federal law enforcement.
Meanwhile, here in Nashville, Channel 4's Jordan James says a war of words has ensued after Department of Homeland Security scathing words for Mayor O'Connell's reaction to the ICE operations.
The mayor responded today. He said in part, "We have been delivering safety to this community by reducing crime multiple years in a row, arresting gang members who've commit crimes in our city, and we do it in a way that doesn't separate families, hurt our economy, and distress an entire community." Now the mayor is calling on ICE to be more transparent and release information about those who they arrested, and not just the 5 people they highlighted with criminal records.
Yeah, among those 5 people they highlighted was an accused murderer, sexual predator, and drug dealers. Consumer Reports out with a new investigation into the pricing at Kroger grocery stores. ABC's Sherry Preston has more on what it found.
The investigation of Kroger stores found discrepancies between what many sale items were marked on the shelves compared to what people actually paid at checkout. Tags were outdated, most by about 10 days, Consumer Reports says. The result, shoppers ended up paying far more for what they thought were discounted items. Kroger says it's working to address any situation when they intentionally fell short of shoppers' expectations.
Here in Nashville, this man telling Channel 4 he couldn't believe what he saw when he walked out his front door this morning in the Belmont area.
Kind of crazy to see crime tape 15 feet from where you sleep. It's a nice area, but obviously you have to be vigilant wherever you are, right? And anywhere you are throughout really Nashville or anywhere in the country, something bad can happen at a moment's notice.
Now, Metro Nashville Police says 26-year-old Dana Corley was found dead of gunshot wounds in the driver's seat of a black Nissan Altima that crashed into a tree near Belmont University. Detectives think it might be robbery related because they say they found his phone but not his wallet. Also here in Nashville, News Channel 5 says the trial for a neo-Nazi accused of threatening to hang District Attorney General Glenn Funk has begun. 60-year-old David Bloyd of Frost, Texas, an admitted member of the Goyim Defense League, which marched in Nashville last July, and one of its members was jailed for assaulting a bar employee who had emerged to confront the group. Prosecutors say Bloyd posted to social media Funk's online biography with the caption, "Getting the Rope," allegedly referring to what happens to race traitors. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Downtown got a crash on the right shoulder. That's going to be 40 eastbound at I-24. Then on the South Loop, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound at 65. And in Franklin, police reporting a crash 65 southbound at 840. In Rutherford County, Highway Patrol reporting a crash in Murfreesboro. This is going to be 840 westbound approaching Sulphur Springs Road. And elsewhere on I-24, over on the East Bank downtown, 24 eastbound before James Robertson Parkway, police reporting a crash. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for being a part of the show. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of it. We've got 9 after 5. We'll get to more of your calls momentarily. Talking the Education Freedom Scholarship Plan that goes into effect tomorrow. Individuals can queue up at 12 noon. I assume that's I know it's Middle Tennessee time. 12 noon tomorrow, and that website, several of you asking, it's tneducationfreedom.com, and that's just a resource site, and then eventually you'll be able to go over to the actual site and take care of business there if you so desire to get involved with those 20,000 scholarships. We're also discussing the actions of Mayor Freddie O'Connell and, by extension, this community review board that apparently takes taxpayer money and doesn't really like the police that much, or doesn't like the police doing their job that much, in as much as they are telling individuals in the Nashville area that they need to report on police officers who are doing their job. Now, the taxpayer-funded board that wants citizens to snitch on the Metro Nashville Police Department for helping ICE is meeting today, starting right now, 5 o'clock, at the Metro office building, 800 President Ronald Reagan Way, second floor, Davidson Room. So you're invited to be a part of that if you can get there. I'm saddened that I did not report on this a little earlier. That is the host failure. But, it's happening right now, Tuesday, May 14th, today, 5 o'clock. Wait a minute. No, that's Wednesday, May 14th, 5 o'clock in the Metro office building. So, my information says Tuesday, May 14th, so I'm going to choose to believe that it's May 14th and not Tuesday, because Tuesday would have been May 13th. That would have been yesterday, and it really doesn't make any sense about bringing it up if it already happened. I will bring this up. We've got Cameron Smith in studio with us.
Hello, Matt.
I'm a little uncomfortable.
I know. We're just periodically going to do the sunglasses in the studio because I've taken my cues from Music Row. You're supposed to wear a trucker hat and sunglasses indoors.
What do you think about my? I mean, I shouldn't say anything because I got the hipster. I got the hipster T-shirt, sports jacket look going on.
Yeah, it gets to you down here. You're on Music Row and you see all the cool kids and you're like,
man, we see them all the time.
What could I do? And the answer is truly nothing. There's nothing that either of us can do to be cool, but, the sunglasses inside is the way to go.
Well, y'all got to talk like this, too, and wear boots.
What's going on, Kenny? Kenny Weaver?
That's how everybody in Nashville talks.
If Ken Weaver played country music, his name would be Kenny Weaves.
Kenny Weaves.
It'd be Little Jimmy Beaver.
Just be Boomer.
I'm on record as saying that it does not bother me to know that I'm no longer cool. It did bother me a little bit when I realized I never was.
Yeah, that's a downer.
Because there was a time where I thought I was cool as the other side of the pillow.
And I never thought that waning skin elasticity would be a thing that I would know that it is.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at my waddle. Wait,
Yeah.
Weaves, can you see my waddle over there? I got a waddle.
I can't see it from here, Brother
It's
Murphy.
like the gobbler on a turkey. I don't know. It's
when I have my beard. When I have the beard, it doesn't bother me.
But if you get to
Watch
be,
out for that waddle if you ever lose that goatee.
and if you get to be a Senate Majority Leader, like Mitch McConnell's thingy is just
don't.
It's just a. He's got
Don't.
flaps, neck flaps.
Don't act like that's my future.
It's coming for you.
You boys better watch it.
That's my Mitch McConnell impersonation. You got to be watching on Talk TV tonight.
Well, imagine a conversation. This is horrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. Imagine a conversation between Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell right now. Mr. Biden.
Sounds like you've already broken into the bourbon.
Right.
Told me I was going to wear a wheelchair. It's just a wheelchair.
And then
Jack?
Joe would have the periodic spikes in volume, you know.
I'm going to kick your bicameral ass.
We're doing great on a Wednesday. I love it.
Everything's going well. Everything's going just fine. I'm out Friday, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, you might get sick. I understand.
I'm begging Cameron to take over tomorrow too, because I got all kind of things going on in my life. I got and it's weird because I got nobody in it. Just me and the groundhogs. That's it.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to play around with me and the groundhogs, Cameron's going to do the show tomorrow.
Jason told me to take your razor away. No razor for you. How'd that face?
I haven't used it since yesterday morning. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So we've lots to discuss. You been following this Nashville stuff?
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
A lot of virtue signaling everywhere. It's the liberal virtues, and then, Andy with the conservative virtues. Well, Freddie O'Connell is being very careful in his wording, and he's not actually doing anything other than saying, well, this is not an empathetic way to enforce the law, and it is harming communities. And, I get it.
I want to know what Freddie has to say about the Nashville Community Review Board, which is a taxpayer-funded organization.
That was the thing that I tweeted with you about. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. You're going to report a cop who helps with immigration stuff?
That's what it says. Your voice matters. If you believe you saw a police officer participating in an immigration operation, you can file a confidential complaint. That's your tax dollars at work. So I just want to know if Freddie supports that or not.
Yeah. Here's an example. Let's say you run a red light and I stop you and I'm a police officer and you happen to be here without status and I let ICE know. Am I participating in their enforcement or am I?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Because Chief John Drake stated plainly that your immigration status does not matter to the Metro Nashville Police Department. He said it. And that is a violation of his oath, in my opinion.
Well, to uphold the law. I just wrote a column about this. You can go read it. It's, what are we doing? This idea that we only support enforcement of some laws that we like is ridiculous.
And I don't understand how exactly they're supposed to ascertain if someone is legally allowed to drive a vehicle without figuring out if they're in the country legally. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to figure that out just by happenstance, by enforcing other aspects of the law that you claim that you're enforcing. Oh, by the way, what happens if in the exercise of your duty you find somebody that's preying on children or, a sexual predator, a child predator, or a drug dealer? Let's say it's a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And you arrest that person for being a drug dealer. And you find out through the process of that arrest that that person's not here legally. Are you just going to ignore that aspect of what you've discovered in your investigation? According to John Drake, yes.
And that's absurd to me.
It's obscene.
Well, we need to be real clear about, I have empathy for the migrants who have been allowed to stay here for a very long time without legal status. The Republicans and Democrats that did not enforce the law did them a massive disservice because they were led to believe that violating the law and just being ignorant of it was an excuse. It was totally fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, enforcement. Well, the problem is not the enforcement. The problem is the entire prior conduct. So blame people like Mayor O'Connell who are saying, well, we don't like to enforce some laws. That's what created the problem in the first place.
I mean, and I don't understand what their system, and I'm trying to get an answer to this. Like, what does your perfect world look like then?
Yeah.
Do you agree with border security now? I mean, I imagine you'd say yes, I suppose. I don't know. Well, I don't know what that would look like.
Here's an extreme example, but I think this is something that we need to think through. Imagine that I'm a Metro police officer. I pull you over for speeding.
Okay.
You have a gun to the head of the person in the car next to you.
Okay.
And I say, you know what? That seems like a paperwork mess. Here's your ticket. Have a good day.
Let's not speed anymore, sir.
Right. Well, that's a huge problem, obviously, because we're like, whoa, wait a minute. We have a hostage situation. What do we have here? Because the law enforcement is there to enforce the law. So when you start saying, that one I don't think I'm going to, this one I think I will, come on.
I'll give you another example, and a less extreme example, but I think it's a good one. So let's say the mayor of Nashville and the police chief of Nashville hold a press conference, and they say, you know, we think the 70-mile-an-hour speed limit is stupid. We think it's stupid. And so we're not enforcing it anymore.
Right.
And so if you're in Davidson County, you can drive as fast as you want to drive, and nobody's going to stop you, and nobody's going to give you a ticket as a result. And we can't control what the Tennessee Highway Patrol does, but if y'all see any of them in the area, let us know, and we'll let everybody know where they are. Does that work for everybody? Or is there a different way? If you legitimately believe that speed limits are stupid, is there a different way to go about changing the law? Or do you just get to ignore the laws that you've decided you don't want to follow? I mean,
yeah.
That's
well, my take on it, and I understand a police officer saying, whoa, I don't know about federal immigration law and stuff. I can't arrest for those offenses. That's not my jurisdiction. Okay, cool. I hear you. I don't have any problem with that. I don't think that's fair to the police. But to tell the police that when you know somebody does not have proper identification, you can tell it's part of your job. You ask them for it. They don't have it. And then you run it and you realize something's not right. You can't even call the appropriate authorities and say, hey, you guys, come get this. Deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's asking you to become an expert in immigration policy.
Exactly.
But just know the number to the people who are, because there's a new game in town, and it's not a free-for-all anymore. And there's nothing wrong with enforcing. It's what we asked for all along during the Biden administration. I never asked for the Metro Nashville Police Department to become immigration police. I just wanted the Biden administration to enforce the law and for the Metro Nashville Police Department to have the ability to hand them off to those who understood immigration policy.
Yeah, and look, I'm not a Trump acolyte. I am not. You know this, and the listeners know this. Like I've always called balls and strikes with all politicians. He is absolutely correct here. When it comes to immigration law, all Trump is doing is enforcing it. Everyone else wasn't. Now, he's getting creative when he's like, hey, can we send folks to Antarctica? But like,
sure,
but short of that, enforcement of the law,
yes,
pretty clear.
So I also understand and have compassion for those who fell into the trap of believing the liberals.
Yes, absolutely.
And these are the individuals that broke the law coming here but haven't broke the law since, that are trying to live their life, that wanted a better life for themselves, all of those things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I feel bad for those people because they bought in. Mm-hmm. They were told, and they were sold a bill of goods, that if you lay low for long enough, they'll leave you alone. And that's not the way the law reads either. That's not the way that it is.
And to be clear, that's not kindness and compassion, right? To say, we're not going to change the law. We're not going to go to Congress and do this the right way.
You're going to be afraid for the rest of your life.
Yeah. When a politician says, hey, just trust me, you should run.
Yeah. 615-737-9986. I have no idea what you've done to offend 4842, but he's already mad at you. Called you a liberal loser.
Well, I said something about him kissing his mom, so that was probably inappropriate.
He said he'd kiss your mom with his mouth.
Well, okay, that's
still weird.
Still kind of gross.
Okie dokie.
Whatever.
Apparently 4842 is looking for a date. 22 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Danny, hang in. Phyllis, you too. Stephen, we'll get to you as well as we continue on the Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hey friends, Matt Murphy here for Efficient Heating and Cooling. Efficient, summer is upon us. You know, I know that the real summer doesn't come around until mid-June, late June. But frankly, summer conditions and summer heat, they're going to be here before you know it. Did you know that the summertime in Tennessee is the hardest season on your cooling system? It's true. That cooling system is going to work harder during the summertime. And it makes sense, right? Because it's hotter outside. It takes a little bit more to get it cool. Summer maintenance on your unit is very important. Catch those issues before they happen. And with Efficient, you get the maintenance guarantee. This means that if they have to come back to repair during the same cooling season this summer, after they maintenance your unit, the service charge is completely waived. That is the guarantee that they offer at Efficient Heating and Cooling. And if it's time to replace, they have suggestions for you. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can help you out in that regard, too. Go to efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient.
Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles calling for a federal investigation of Nashville city leaders for obstructing ICE operations. Better check your receipts. The price on the shelf is different at the checkout sometimes. We'll tell you where it happened at the latest, coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and we've got a little gathering that we call the Matt Murphy Show. It's on a daily basis from 3 until 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I thank each and every one of you. Once a week, we invite old Cameron Smith to stop by from Conservative Closet over there at the Tennessean. He writes all the best words.
And you say all the best words.
And together we have a podcast called All the Best Words, and you're invited to go over there. Hey, if you love this, you can find it in convenient little 12 or 14-minute bite-sized morsels.
Yeah, especially Ray and Kevin. I know you sometimes miss not having a daily dose of me.
And Jason.
And well, Jason. Oh, Jason.
Ray's mad at me.
What did you do to Ray?
Ray's mad at me. Ray's mad at me because I gave him crap.
Well,
yesterday.
Come on, Ray.
What did I give Ray crap about yesterday? I can't even remember. Oh, it was a big old deal, and I just went off on him, and people were like, boy, oh boy, I'm glad I'm not Ray, and I can't even remember.
Humanity in the ICE operations.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, just, let's treat these folks like human beings.
And Ray was
let's not forget that they're human.
Ray was like, it's a no for me.
Yeah, and they're not really, they're subhumans or whatever. I don't know. It's just, Ray got mad, and we kind of got after it, and he accused me of letting you rub off on me, and
I don't want to rub on you at all. It's gross,
and yet you do it.
Hey, I just want to like Trump, let all the haters and losers know I love them, and it's great.
Everybody's mad at me today because I said my thing about trailer parks, and I don't even know why I did it, but I did it.
Would you like to talk about Catholics?
Yeah.
Catholics in trailer parks. Now that's crazy.
Tell me about this Pope.
Illegal alien Catholics in trailer parks. You talk about a group of weirdos. Danny is next. Hey, Danny.
Oh, hey. That must be me, eh?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
How y'all doing? I appreciate Cameron being on. I didn't expect y'all to holler at me this quick. Well, I had a little bit of off-the-wall thing. The trailer park thing real quick. I think what you meant was that if someone resides in a trailer park and thinks there's nothing better in life, that's the people you was talking about. But if somebody resides in a trailer park and just lives there and they know they're backing off or whatever and they're okay with it, that's fine. I think that's all you meant by it.
I said what I said, and I said, and this is the blanket statement, but I issued the caveat, Danny, that I don't say this anymore. I used to say it. I don't say it anymore. But what I used to say was, if you live in the trailer park and you don't see a problem with that, you're a loser.
Yeah,
that's what I've said.
Yeah.
I come from
I think I know what you meant, but that ain't what I meant.
Well, but hold on, Danny, hold on. I got to get. You know what? I've promised Ken Weaver I'm going to be better. About
you got to do it.
News on time. So I'm going to get to the news on time. And many of you have reminded me. It was about the Nashville Rescue Mission. I'd forgotten about that. Yes, it was about having a humanitarian approach to people who are going into the rescue mission. Ray called the rescue mission disgusting because he said that they went after Governor Lee for signing the immigration bill. That's not true. I read the press release that the Nashville Rescue Mission had on it. They said that they would abide by the law, but they don't ask for identification for people that come into the rescue mission. And I believe their mission is a different one than the mission of the immigration folks. That's all my comment was. It is time for the news on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes in Tennessee. 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles says he's going to ask for a federal investigation of Nashville city leaders for obstructing ICE operations. He announced it during a House committee hearing today with Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Considering we've seen a 400% increase against federal law enforcement, do these types of statements and actions by a municipal leader concern you?
Yes, absolutely. They perpetuate the violence against law enforcement officers. And what happens many times then is that our agents within the Department of Homeland Security go into situations with no backup, with no local response of people who know the communities, know the routes, the roads, or the needs to emergency services that may be there. So it absolutely makes them much more vulnerable to a situation to which their lives could be in jeopardy.
Well, Mayor O'Connell instructed Metro Police to report any communications with federal authorities to the mayor's office. He issued an executive order to track interactions with federal immigration authorities after saying his office was not made aware of the ICE operation, and he wants the Community Review Board to do the same. Kroger might have some explaining to do after Consumer Reports claims an investigation into customer complaints about pricing found that Kroger charges more for items than what the price tag says because the price on the tags expired. The average overcharge they say they found was $1.70 per item, or 18%. Kroger says it's working to address the possible discrepancies. More testimony from Cassie Ventura, the ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, in the federal government sex trafficking and racketeering case against the music mogul. Ventura offered more details in what happened after that violent hotel hallway surveillance video.
Testifying today, Ventura says when she got home, a friend noticed she had a black eye and swollen lip and called police. But she said she didn't want to tell officers what she says Combs had done, so police left. That night, Ventura telling jurors she attended a premiere wearing sunglasses to cover up her eye and makeup to cover the bruising on her face. They ended their relationship in 2018.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound at I-65 South over here on the South Loop. And then TDOT says there's a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane of 65 northbound just past Rosa Parks Boulevard. Then over on the East Loop going eastbound, police reporting a crash there at James Robertson Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Listen up, folks. I'm going to tell you something important about your health and your well-being. If you're in pain in any fashion, in any form on your body, especially if it's in your neck, in your back, upper or lower back, I want you to talk to Dr. Kevin Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, because they can help. And right now, if you call my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they've got the Big 47 deal for 2025 in honor of our 47th president. That is 47% off spinal decompression. Non-surgical spinal decompression is key to alleviating your pain, and you can find it at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are the experts. They understand and have studied and practiced all over the world. They know what causes the pain, and they know how to alleviate it. During your consultation, you'll get an exam, x-rays, and they will get to business alleviating that pain. Live a pain-free life with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I've made the switch, and I want you to as well. My name is Matt Murphy. The Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval. Call 615-246-5009 or painisbad.com. If you would like to follow me on social media, your best bet is on the X machine, a.k.a. the Twitter. And you can find me at Matt Murphy Show. You can find Cameron Smith at D Cameron Smith. And I know that because I've just sent him something on the Twitter machine. It is a video of a raccoon eating grapes.
That's essential watching.
Which is which is awesome. It's the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my life because they got the little hands and they got the opposable thumbs and they pick up the grape and
Are they spitting out the seeds?
Let's see here. Hold on.
Whoa, man, what are you doing? It's like my whole salary right here.
That's the raccoon talking.
It's like 7 hours for these things. Hey, are you not listening?
That's awesome. I'm sorry. That's just for me.
That's good.
It's a Wednesday edition of the Matt Murphy Show, but I'm off on Friday. I'm out of town. I'm, going to be a degenerate and going to a place where I'm going to do some golfing and some drinking and some gambling. And as a result, I feel like I've checked out a day early.
That's fair.
I've already actively, I hope Paul's not listening, I've already actively asked Cameron if he could fill in for me tomorrow if I got sick.
It looks serious.
Hope it's not catching.
I mean,
you lost all the hair on your face.
Well, that's true. And Lindsay says I look girly.
Girly.
That's what she said.
Man, Lindsay, that's harsh.
Matt Murphy kind of looks girly. You wearing makeup today?
Well, I'm kind of offended because I at least own it. I come from trash. Like the trailer park and that I have crashed a 4-wheeler into a trailer and ended up in my grandparents' living room. Like that's a thing that I've done. And so I don't want the classy folks. I am a mutt. My mom was a Southern blue blood and my dad was Georgia. There's just not a nice way to say it. I mean, he's Georgia redneck. I mean, and I've walked on the classy side, but I got to be honest. I like my women a little on the trashy side.
My people.
Well,
Careful.
what was that?
My people had to look up to rednecks. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's impressive.
I mean, my grandfather built the first house that he ever lived in after he left home, and it burned to the ground because the only way to heat the home was a trash heater.
That is awesome.
Where you literally burned the trash to heat your home.
Well, you're saving the city money.
Saving the city. I mean, actually, it was kind of a precursor of what we had in downtown Nashville for a long time, right? Wasn't there a big old trash heater in downtown Nashville for a while?
Trash fire, baby.
Yeah. In the meantime, so 8695 writes in and says, yesterday you badmouthed smoking and drinking. Showed up. Hold on, don't make me laugh, Weaver. Yesterday you badmouthed smoking and drinking. Showed up clean shaven. Today you bash a trailer park. You got a boyfriend?
Those obviously flow. I mean.
And my response was, you asking for a date?
Yeah.
And his response was, you buying?
These are all fair considerations.
Yeah, I'll buy you one. I mean, come on, 8695. Let's go. Did you guys see the video of the raccoon smoking the meth pipe? Well, of course we did.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
I got to know why that raccoon had the meth pipe instead of I figure raccoon being more weed to take the edge off.
I would think so, too. But, I mean, it's whatever's handy, right? I mean, he's just learning from the poor parents that are around him.
Well,
sadly.
I can promise you, I'm finishing it up right now. The Wasted Bacon's writing a song about Randy the raccoon. They are. I know it. Right.
I feel it.
I'm an insider.
Feel it in my bones. We are going to, Cameron and I have dedicated ourselves. For those who are not familiar with the Trash Panda Act, it is an effort on our part to initiate legislation that makes it easier. Really, it deregulates raccoon ownership in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah. It basically makes it like Arkansas.
It makes it legal. And obviously, there will be a few parameters. I think you'll need to have a requirement for vaccination if you keep it as a pet?
Sure.
Or,
Arkansas does. It says you can have 6. There's the law.
Well,
Sweet.
Have you been around a lot of people from Arkansas?
Woo Pig Suey, man.
There are worse places to live, Oklahoma, but whatever.
You better watch your mouth.
I knew I'd finally get his dander up.
We've got those in glass houses shouldn't throw bricks.
That's true.
Let's be honest.
I grew up in the poverty-stricken THOMSON, no P in Thompson.
Yeah, and everybody's been throwing bricks at Mississippi for a long time, but they're coming up in the world. We got to be careful.
Sally says trash heater, and you put down trailer parks. Nah, I'm not putting down the trailer park. The trailer park is a perfectly acceptable refuge in a time of crisis. My point is this. If you live...
And if you have a trailer.
If you live in not a trailer. A trailer's fine. Whatever. Mobile home, have at it. Enjoy yourself.
Right.
Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you live, let's go ahead and say long-term, in the trailer park, and you don't see the problem with that situation, then I think that's on you, man.
So this is actually funny but true story. I did not know that there was a trailer park in Nolensville, right?
Uh-huh.
And, Williamson County, they're like, well, we're uppity. We know things, right? And we have many leather-bound books. Like, okay, got it. So I had one of my sons, who was a bonus son that we had for a while, kind of lose his mind. And he ran off behind this restaurant through this field, and I'm chasing him and trying to help him calm down. And then I see light in the distance, and the police officer is coming toward me with his hand on his gun. And, is everything okay? Sir, is everything okay? And I want you to know that things are so crazy in the Smith family that the folks at the trailer park called the cops about a commotion, and I was a commotion.
Oh, right.
Right. So I know my people.
You got the trailer park calling the cops on you.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Which is, a moment where maybe you take a little life examination.
Yeah, I learned a lot, and I was like, I don't like with the police officer shining the light at me with his hand on his hip. That I don't want to do that anymore. So we had a good talk about that's probably not good if you don't want to get shot.
I would agree. This reminds me of a blanket statement that I made years ago, and I stand by this statement, that in the United States of America, absent mental or physical disability, long-term poverty is a choice.
I think that's pretty fair. And relative poverty too. We're not talking sub-Saharan.
And that's right. I'm not talking about. But there are places in this world where you are born into a condition that, absent some extreme abnormality, like God-given ability to perform a sport or something, you are burdened by that condition of your living. I mean, Haiti, for goodness sake. In America, we are not burdened by that. We are the land of opportunity. And once again, absent mental or physical disability, long-term, I'm not saying that bad things don't happen to good people. I'm not saying that you don't go through life cycles where you go through a bad time. I'm telling you that it's all about looking at yourself in the mirror and determining that you are going to get better, you're going to do better, you are going to succeed. And everyone's definition of success might be different. And if your definition of success is living in the trailer park, well, okay. I mean, I suppose.
I'm just saying, I had a lot of fun in trailers, and that were parked permanently. They couldn't go anywhere, and they had wheels.
No, we're not talking about the RV park. Every trailer park that I've ever been in, none of those trailers are going a damn place. They're not going anywhere.
Right. It was there if you needed it at one point in time.
No, most of them had the tongues just cut off.
Right.
They're not going anywhere.
Right, but I mean,
The fancy ones had the skirts.
I know that there is redneck in me because of how many catfish and bluegill I've eaten.
Look,
and if you've not eaten a lot of very small bony fish that are deep fried, you're not living.
I have. I lived for a fairly extended period of time across the dirt way, from somebody that kept their pool under the trailer in the winter.
Awesome.
And then they would drag it out in the summer, and hose it down, fill it up, and then get in it.
That's like Carl in Toby Keith's trailer hood.
Well, yes.
Yes, exactly. I think it was the inspiration there.
Had him a plastic pool.
Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to keep cool in the summertime.
Yeah. Now I just get the HOA called on.
I lived for a period of time in my childhood in McClary's trailer park, which was awful. And that was the moment where I realized my dad was not on the up and up because he stole the Elvis painting that my mama loved. Well, he didn't steal it. He promised the guy that he'd pay for it. And he promised him he'd pay him $20.
Please tell me you have said painting.
I do.
That's awesome.
I do. I still have it. It's a cherished item.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you very much.
And it's still hot.
And it's still, I haven't paid the dude $20. But the guy, I remember, this is before Mama's brain surgery. This is before Dad left. And I just vaguely remember, I'm probably 4 years old, and I just remember the dude yelling at my dad that he wanted his damn $20. And the painting was right there. It was like a canvas, like a canvas Elvis. It wasn't really, it's not that good.
Yeah.
But,
there were a lot of paintings of Elvis there for a while.
But you tell me that it's hard to not feel like a loser when you got the mobile pool next door and you got the dude yelling at your dad that he wants his $20 or he can get that Elvis painting back, by God. I'll come over here when y'all ain't here.
How big old boy are you?
It ain't much to break into this dadgum trailer.
It ain't nothing for me to whoop a man's ass.
Danny, I promised you we'd get back to you, and we have. I apologize for the delay. It's Chris Weber's fault. Hey, Danny?
Yeah.
Hey, you earlier you said you were surprised that we got to you so quick, so I wanted to make you feel a little more normal, so we made you put it going on. I'm sorry for the delay. Go ahead, Danny.
I still got a comment about school.
Let's go.
And I think a little bit outside the box, okay? But here's what I had as far as private schools and taxes and stuff. I had a couple kids, right? And I wanted them to go to private school. And I had to cut a lot of corners and stuff. And I did get them through private school. I still had to pay taxes on public school. I don't know if it's helped the cause or not. But anyways, I had to cut a lot of corners on things. But I realized I would have liked to have had 3 or 4 kids. But I realized I could not afford 3 or 4 kids to put them through private school. And I talked to a doctor about this child process, and he explained to me something. And for a few $100s, I still enjoyed the process of what would be creating children. But I could do that process without creating children and only have the 2 to take care of.
Yes.
Vasectomy. And that worked fine. And that way I could budget for them and pay for it. I didn't have to burden taxpayers and things for stuff. And it's like if I wanted to have a Corvette. Other people get to have a Corvette. Why can't I have one? Well, I don't expect taxpayers to say, hey, anybody wants a Corvette? We have a fund in taxpayers that you can all get a Corvette. So if you want a kid. But I sure wouldn't expect taxpayers to give me some kind of extra funding to build a garage and have 4 or 5 Corvettes if I couldn't afford the first one in the first place. So I had to figure out how to deal with it. Couldn't control myself, and that's what I did. So I enjoyed the process of making them. Had to pay for the private school. I did. And it all worked out well. But I didn't go to taxpayers for it. However that is. But, hey, if y'all like doing that, maybe you need to consider some outpatient fixing so you can still enjoy the process and not create more.
Would you go with like peas? You go with like peas after the vasectomy or
liquid nitrogen?
You know what I'm saying? I hear that, like frozen peas work.
I don't know what that is, man.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
But
However, I do know that it's a
no, I can't. I can't. I'm sorry, Danny. I can't. I love you, but I can't. Because I feel like if we get started again, then it's going to be 3 minutes.
Danny
and
rolls. Danny rolls.
Danny gets on a roll, and I love you, Danny. But I thought, didn't Danny say he had a vasectomy?
Yeah. He said it in the longest way possible.
Right. I mean, he said he had a vasectomy so that he limited the amount of kids like he limited the amount of Corvettes that he was comparing kids to Corvettes.
Right.
Which is, that's fine.
I do remember he said the number 2.
Yeah, he talked about going number 2.
I'm not sure. My boys have asked me, Dad, could you own a Ferrari if you didn't have us? And I feel like that's a real loaded question.
Yeah. I mean, but the clear answer is 100% yes. But I say that I don't have any of them, and I don't have a Ferrari.
Why not?
Yeah, but you got okra and squash.
And you got.
I do.
That's
I got groundhogs.
That's groundhog poo squash. We got to be clear about that.
That's right. Groundhog poo squash is going to be delish. Stephen, we'll get to you momentarily. I got to run. Sorry about that, Danny. Had to go. 54 after the hour on Super Talk. All right, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and looky who is here. It's Tony Spain with Cabinet Solutions. What is going on, Tony?
Hey, man, I just want to say a little bit about some orange and blue box stores out there that we love to go to. I go to them. I need to go to them. But, when you're designing and purchasing cabinetry for your home, well, listen, you're just going to spend a little bit too much there, and you need to come see what we can do for you. Not only can we save you a bunch of money, but our designers and our installers are top-notch. They have to go through our own personal training, and they've got a lot of experience. And so it's just a better experience all around to go with us.
I've met some of the installers that you utilize over at Cabinet Solutions, and they're not only good people and great installers, they've got great taste in radio, Tony.
One of them is Nick, if you're out there listening, he's talking about you, buddy.
No,
he does. He listens to you passionately.
Well, they're great guys, and obviously from start to finish when it comes to revitalizing your kitchen, revitalizing your bathroom, reimagining your dressing area or your closet space, the only stop that I encourage you to make is at Cabinet Solutions. Tony can help you out, and obviously it's an email or a visit over to the website to get the process started, right?
I believe so. I think it's the best way. Just go to our website, browse around, look, and then go to the contact form, contact us form, fill it out. It's quick and easy. Comes directly to me, and I get right back to you and get you in touch with the right person. And it's mycabinetsolution.com.
And remember, there's only one. It's mycabinetsolution.com. Reach out to Tony today. Thank you, Tony.
See you, buddy.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. And what about this Glock Store open house? It is coming, and it's at the end of the month. May 31st, as a matter of fact, from 10 until 2, you're invited to the big open house at the one and only Glock Store. Friends, it is going to be the party of the season, right? It always is. Open house is famous for their incredible raffles. This year, they're going to be going on nonstop all day long, giving you the best chance to win ever, including a customized Glock. That is the big prize at the end of the day. Plus, they've got fabulous speakers. I've done this for a number of years. Absolutely love it. You can tour the shooting rooms, never the lanes, shooting rooms at your leisure. And friends, we invite you to get on out to the Glock Store. Mark the date, 10 until 2. I'll be there, and I'll be shaking your hands and saying hello as well. And it is going to be a big-time party. So mark the calendar, 10 until 2, May 31st. It is the Glock Store's 5th annual open house. Minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. It's the Glock Store.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes in Tennessee. 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles asking for a federal investigation of Nashville city leaders for obstructing ICE operations. He announced it during a House committee hearing today with Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
If a municipal leader is found to be aiding and abetting illegal immigrants to evade federal law enforcement, would that be a criminal act?
Yes, I believe it would, sir.
And if elected officials impede ICE or Homeland Security in doing their job and pursuing illegal immigrants, would that be a criminal act?
I believe so.
O'Connell instructed Metro Police, that's Mayor Freddie O'Connell, instructed Metro Police to report any communications with federal authorities and the Community Review Board to monitor and track ICE activities in the city. Better check those receipts. Consumer Reports claims an investigation into customer complaints shows that people paid way more than the price tag showed at Kroger because the price tags were outdated, meaning they rang up a lot more when people went to the checkout. The average overcharge was about $1.70 per item. Kroger says it's working to address the possible discrepancies. Fireworks today between Connecticut U.S. Senator Chris Murphy and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. during a hearing on staffing cuts and policy changes.
You have consistently been undermining the measles vaccine. You told the public that the vaccine wanes very quickly. You went on the Dr. Phil show and said that the measles vaccine was never fully tested for safety. You said there's fetal debris in the measles vaccine. And this morning...
All true.
This morning in
Do
front of...
you want me to lie to the public?
That's not... None of that is...
Of course it's true. Of course it's true, Senator. You're Senator begging your progress. You do not know what you're talking about.
For the record.
And President Trump continues his three-nation Mideast trip today in Qatar. Got a warm welcome when he landed in Doha. Music, singing, and a military greeting. Shortly after landing, the president and the emir participated in a signing ceremony.
It's actually 200, including the 40, so it's over $200 billion. But 160 in terms of the jets. That's fantastic. So that's a record, Kelly. And congratulations to Boeing. Get those planes out there. Get them out there.
Now, that's a reference to Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg, who was on hand to sign the agreement where Qatar has agreed to buy 160 jets from Boeing for about $200 billion. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. South Loop downtown, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound at 65 south. And a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane, 65 northbound, just past Rosa Parks Boulevard. In Antioch, TDOT reporting a crash on the right shoulder, 24 eastbound, just past Haywood Lane. Glencliff, police reporting a crash 40 westbound at Spence Lane. In Spring Hill, we got a crash reported by police. Off-ramp partially blocked, 65 northbound to go to Saturn Parkway. And in Clarksville, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound at MLK Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. It's the final hour of our Wednesday edition of the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It is May 14, episode 810. And yes, for those watching on Talk TV, I have stolen the sunglasses of Cameron Smith.
Yep. He's real fast. He's like a ninja.
Mm-hmm. How am I doing over here?
Why? Because you can't see?
I can't see a thing. I don't know what's going on.
Need you a hat like Burt Reynolds had in Smokey and the Bandit.
That's my Burt Reynolds.
And I have not been beaten, so you can see.
Yeah, there was a question as to whether or not you had bruises about the head and shoulders and face.
No,
because of your wearing of the sunglasses. I'll give these back now. These are fabulous.
Yeah,
they're nice looking shades.
They're
really great looking sunglasses.
True story. Found them at the.
I don't think they fit my face.
Found them at Bryant-Denny Stadium. They were smashed, and I just. Threw them in my truck and then kept them for years. And then my wife took them and sent them off to Maui Jim. They're discontinued.
Mm-hmm.
And said, well, we need new lenses and also new frames.
But we'll get on that.
Boom. All good, all pretty.
I almost, during a taping of an episode of All the Best Words, dropping tonight, by the way, 7 p.m. Big episode tonight. Episode number 15, want to say. And you can like and subscribe. Go over to Supertalk 99.7 WTN on the YouTubes or any of the other platforms. But I mentioned this story that I had my Glock 43 in one of my saddlebags on my motorcycle. And it was before I had properly secured the saddle. I thought I had secured the saddlebags, and I had not properly secured the saddlebags. And so I'm driving along to get together. And I'm buzzing along, and I had a hat. These are old horse saddlebags that I had, transitioned into motorcycle saddlebags. Had my hat in there, had like my gun in there, because you got to carry your piece around with you, all sorts of other things. And I looked down on the interstate and no saddlebags, and I had no idea where they were. So I circle back. This is in Birmingham. This is on 65, and I had just come off 459. You know where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Most of the folks maybe don't.
Yeah.
But I had to backtrack to figure out if I could find them. They were in the middle of the interstate in front of the Galleria, Cameron. And they were just getting destroyed by traffic.
Trucking them.
So I had to pull over on the other side of the road, and I froggered it through 4 lanes, jumped the barrier, froggered it through another 2 lanes.
That sounds safe.
And like you think, you look and you go, oh, I've got time to run out there, pick this up and leave. You do not understand how fast that traffic is coming.
That's how people get killed, man.
That is how people get killed. So I ran out, grabbed the saddlebag, and I saw the gun. The gun was in pieces. And so I gathered all of the pieces of the gun that I could and ran back as fast as I could. And never could find my hat. Erica found my hat 2 days later. like 2 miles down the road on the side of the road.
You kind of get blown and pushed and stuff.
And I'll just beat up and destroyed. I still have that hat. But I sent my Glock 43 back to Glock because I heard that they somehow there was not one in the chamber, but obviously I had it loaded in the magazine, and all of the bullets had been ejected from the magazine.
Wow.
Somehow. Just through, getting the crap beat out of them. I sent it back to Glock, and Glock sent me a very nice note that said, we pride ourselves on repairing any of our Glocks that are damaged. But you did not send us, like, literally the barrel, the slide.
That's critical.
So we are not going to be able to help you.
So you had a part of a gun. Good work.
Yeah, so there you go. It's my Glock story. Stephen is on the road, and Stephen wants to talk about Freddie O'Connell and illegal aliens. Hello, Stephen. Thank you for calling.
Hey, thank you, sir. Thanks for taking my call. I'm wondering, I know you guys know more about this. Maybe Cameron can chime in. When is the next mayoral election in Nashville? Is it next year around May?
It's 27, isn't it?
I'm looking.
I want to say that it is the year after the governor's election. The governor's election's in 26 next year.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's 27.
That would be, is it 4 years?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's 27. The last one was 23.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So I guess we got to deal with this guy until then unless something happens. And,
I don't think there's a mechanism that we can recall him.
No, I don't think so.
Well, he can break the law and he can be removed, I guess, under federal law somehow. Or
he's actually a really nice guy, so the likelihood that he's going to be a lawbreaker is pretty low. He is a liberal.
I said that for a long time. I don't think what Freddie's doing right now is very nice.
I agree with that. But to say, hey, this is a guy who's not a bad guy, who's making some bad decisions. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and the remedy for that, like you say, Stephen, and I think that's your point. The remedy is that, we're probably going to have to put up with him until 27, and then we need to get his butt out of office.
Well, maybe not. If Marsha becomes the governor, because I think Bill Lee may favor him a little bit because Nashville is the honeypot. And a lot of money comes out of that. I'd say it's probably the honeypot of Tennessee. So I think Bill Lee is kind of letting him slide a little bit on a lot of issues that actually should be dealt with. But I don't know how long it's been since we've had a Republican mayor in Nashville. But I'm just thinking maybe this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and Nashville will flip red. Maybe Davidson County or Nashville will see a big red wave because of this. Because this is the main thing Americans voted Trump back in for, was the illegals. Everybody wants to be safe, and we want our economy to flourish. And, I don't know how much he won by. I don't know. You guys can probably find the statistics on that. I don't know how many votes he won by in this, but, I know all of his constituents in Nashville is deep blue. So, but I'm just hoping maybe this will maybe we'll see some change coming up in 27 for Nashville.
There is a recall. There is a recall apparatus because John Cooper had that process start, but they didn't get enough signatures to get the recall election on the ballot.
Wow. So it was close then.
So, yeah. So, I don't know that it was close necessarily, but Stephen, I don't know. I don't know that Bill Lee, I think he tries to keep his hands off of what's happening in Nashville as much as he ought to in the sense that, the people of Nashville elected Freddie O'Connell, like it or not.
Yeah. What do you want the governor to do?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the governor is supposed to do about that. The governor has no authority to remove the mayor.
Well, I'd just like to see Metro stepping in and doing their job when it comes to, violent criminals and illegals that could cause harm and that are causing harm and bringing drugs into the city and, taking opportunity away from people that hardworking American citizens that want those jobs. And there's a list of things, but for the mayor to be able to control the police department and since they're blue, they're they're pretty much against it. I think, it's just, I think O'Connell has a little bit of TDS. Now, I think he's running a fever. He may have a little bit of Trump derangement syndrome, and that's probably the problem, and that may be what destroys him, hopefully.
He's playing to the and he's certainly playing to the base.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
You can do the math.
Thank you.
I mean, the Democratic voters are overwhelm Davidson County and the city of Nashville. I mean, like that
What did Alice get? 36%, 37%, something like that.
She was a great candidate. Like she was awesome, but there's just not enough Republicans right now in Davidson County to really get it done.
Not enough motivated. I think Trump got 105,000 votes. I was talking to Jason Weekly about this earlier, who is the chairman of the Davidson County GOP. He said that if any Republican mayoral candidate had gotten 70% of the votes, that Donald Trump got in the last presidential election in Davidson County, that they would have won by a margin of 2-1 over their opponent. So I agree. Jason and I were talking about this, and he says, and I consider Alice a friend, and I thought Alice was a good candidate too, but I don't know if I can say. I think maybe we were talking in private. Well, here's the bottom line: that I think there is a habit of running a moderate conservative because you think you have to do that to win over middle of the road voters. I think you would do better in Davidson County running a staunch conservative and trying to gin up maximum votes from those conservatives within the county, as opposed to trying to be squishy about it and pick up some purple voters.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the vote totals right here, and this tells you what you're up against. So let's assume Donald Trump is going to get the high water mark for Republicans. He got 102,256 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Harris Waltz ticket got 181,862.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at almost doubling up, and that's assuming a good turnout. And it's assuming that, Harrison Waltz was a bad ticket for Democrats. So my guess is that number is probably even a little low.
Well, but so if you could approach even, I would want to look at.
I see the argument though, is if you could take that 100,000 and turn
just
out
get 70% of them, and that's a I couldn't really heavy lift, and you keep
it's mathematically possible.
But you would have to have 70% turnout, and the other side would have to have like 30%.
Right. If you can basically get Democrats to be asleep at the wheel,
right,
and then you turn out everybody,
that's how you
can win.
That's how you do it. Now, I say there's nothing the governor can do. The governor and the General Assembly could, in theory, take over what they would consider to be a failing metro.
Yes. I mean, the state has tremendous power. But
I don't know that I don't know that you can make an argument that Nashville's failing.
No.
Now.
You would have to, that's an extraordinary remedy. And I also think we need to be careful. Mayor O'Connell's posture is very clearly pandering to his liberal base.
Of course.
There are a lot of Nashville Metro police officers that do a good job and try to enforce the law to the best of their ability who aren't playing politics with this. So I want to be, yes, there's some political folks that are, and there's some leadership that is, but there's a lot of police officers that they're just trying to do their job.
I owe an apology to all listening to this radio show. Because apparently, if you couple the fact that, how Samson, he had his hair, he had his strength from his hair.
Delilah,
shaved the head, and then no strength.
Yeah.
Apparently, me shaving my face, I've lost my brain. I've lost my ability to function, lost my ability to do a radio show, as evidenced by the fact that I just completely forgot about nincompoops in the news today.
Yeah.
Just completely forgot. And I guarantee you, everybody else involved in the show remembered that I forgot. And they were everybody else is sitting around going, I wonder how long Murphy's going to go on his show.
We're just living in it.
That's exactly what I was doing. Yeah.
Like, hey, we'll just sit here and wait around. And I'm either already in Tunica, Mississippi, or I need to grow my facial hair back. Or both.
To be honest, I was trying to think about how a raccoon could steal a tractor. Like that's right. That's what I was thinking about. Not nincompoops, but that's fine.
The landlord's told me that she's going to put out some naturally occurring stuff that groundhogs don't like, and I don't know how I feel about that. She just told me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have 2 groundhogs.
They're not going to fertilize your squash anymore.
I don't know. Well, we've got a mole problem in the backyard. And so she's putting out castor oil for the moles. Did you know that? That moles do not like castor oil?
Oh, and you know what they really don't like is spring-loaded traps.
Yeah, I get that.
They hate those.
Nor does Mrs. Beasley. You know, so I'm trying to.
I get it.
Trying to do what I can, but now I'm endangering the groundhogs, or at least the groundhogs are in danger of having to find a new place to live.
Yeah, I hate moles. Ground squirrels, chipmunks, if you will, are worse. But both of those are not great on my radar.
Tony writes in and says, "We as listeners like a nut trying to get a squirrel, man." Yeah, I know. And look, the sad thing is that for some reason I'm having a bad day. I'm having a rough day. I'm already mentally checked out for whatever reason. And there's another day of this to go before I get to call it a weekend.
Miles to go before you sleep.
And by the way, for Jason, this is day number 5. This will be day number 5 that I've taken off in 2025. So he says, the new afternoon guy sure takes a lot of time off. I'm like, what? More than Wilson? I don't think.
Is he talking about you? I don't know. I mean,
I say I'm picking up.
You should correct that and be like, excuse me, I'm not afternoons. I'm the drive.
Well, no, that was Wilson. That's not me. I would never. I don't live up to those standards. It's 21 after the hour. I will live up to this. We'll take more of your calls momentarily. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I've got a couple of questions for you regarding your health insurance. How much do you pay for your health insurance in the past year, for example? Do you know? If you don't know, you need to call Cover Nash. How much does it really cost you? That's a different question. Might sound like the same question, but it's a different question. Shane Ring at Cover Nash can tell you today. Cover Nash wants you to know how much you overspend on your health insurance. Shane is not a call center agent. He is a local health insurance expert in Middle Tennessee and understands you don't have to pay for plans that you don't need. He'll sit down with you, walk through the entire health insurance industry. He does not sell you on one particular plan. He finds the plan that is right for you. I've been to his office, love the way he does his work. Cover Nash wants you informed about your health coverage. Do not wait until open enrollment. Let me say it again. Do not wait until open enrollment. Let Shane Ring get you a health care coverage plan that pays you, not the other way around. Health coverage tailored to your needs. Go to CoverNash.com or call 615-465-0023. 465-0023 for Cover Nash. I was texting someone back on the super text line, which I try to do, and I realized I could just answer them on the radio. I could mass communicate.
You have a show for that.
I do. Hello, my name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Show. There's Cameron Smith. He's with us until 7 o'clock tonight. We didn't do nincompoops in the news today, and I'm not going to try to make it up now because it's my fault, and I'm just going to own it. And we'll do some tomorrow. We also have Friday on Thursday tomorrow. That's all. That's big fun. And then this. Matt Murphy writes 2210. You're too soft on illegals. You say if they've been here for 20 years and created a life that they're okay. I've never said that. I've never said that. I've never said that. No, they're not. They've stolen from the taxpaying citizens, and just because the government caused this doesn't mean we, the citizens, should take the blame or should have to suffer in any way. I've not said that. What I have said is that we, the citizens who elect those government officials who have failed us in this regard, ultimately are responsible. You are responsible, 2210. I'm responsible.
Yeah.
Cameron's responsible. All of us are responsible. And for the last 40 years, really since Simpson-Mazzoli, when Ronald Reagan, along with the Democrats in Congress, amnestized about 3.5 million illegal aliens on the promise and the premise that we would get border security, which never came, we've not done anything about it. It's been 40 years. And we've gone through peaks and valleys, and Trump tried as best he could during his first term. And now Trump's doing a lot better job at the southern border, and that's where it starts. What I'm telling you is there's a better way for some of these folks who have been here for 20 years to pay their pittance without having to go back to a country that they probably wouldn't recognize and leave behind families that are legal citizens of the United States of America in the process. The way that you do that is you bring them above the waterline of legality, and the punishment can be fineage. The punishment can be, not allowing them to ever be in line for citizenship. They can have legal status.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
But not citizenship. There are other ways to punish the lawbreakers who have been here for years and years and years, because, 2210, you might have a different opinion on this. I do not think it is going to be effective policy to attempt to extract what may be as many as 30 million people out of the United States of America. If we've had almost 10 million, and by some estimates 12 million over the last 5 years alone, you're looking at 30 million people?
Yeah, I think the permanent number is around 12 to 15 million, but it's still a ton of people.
Do
you know how many planes that would require?
Look, I'm not suggesting that we don't take a hardline approach over the latecomers and certainly the criminal lawbreakers. And I'm on record as saying, if you've come in the last 5 years, you got to go home and start over.
Yeah. Well, but that's the problem. We need to change the law. So Congress, I know you guys are into doing nothing, but instead of Andy Ogles asking the executive branch to look into some things about Freddie O'Connell, how about you secure the border and codify some of this stuff?
Right.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's the way to get it done. Rick, you'll be next up. Jeff, you'll be in there. Line 3, whomever you are, we'll get to you as well. But right now, it's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest can help you with those bugs and nasties and things that you don't want around your home. Let me tell you, from anything like rats and rodents. I don't know if they handle moles. I need to ask J.K. and Erica if they handle moles, because maybe they do. They offer full-service pest control. They deal with rodents inside of the home, so maybe they do some mole work too. Spiders and stink bugs and ants and ladybugs and mice and silverfish and roaches and much, much more. Recluse spiders and all other manner of spiders and ticks and fire ants and termites. They do it all at U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest can help protect your home from those things that bug you. They're a little communists, these bugs. You need to get protection. Call 590-1260. That's 590-1260. Or online at uspest.com for full-service pest protection. They offer a free inspection. They're not going to pressure you. They're just going to tell you what they're looking at and what is available for you and for your family. uspest.com. That's uspest.com. .37 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Rick says it's Johnny Fever Day on WWTN. I don't know what that means, but thank you, Rick. 9412 says, listeners may direct complaints about a lack of nincompoops in the news to me, Danny. You were a respectful enough host to get back to my call. That's on me. It's all good. No, Danny, it's all on me. I will take the lumps, my friend. My name's on the door.
Extreme ownership. I like it.
Although I say that, and I'm going to immediately pivot to an excuse, which is I've been off my game, not only because I am fresh shaven, but also because Cameron's sitting in here with sunglasses on, and it is freaking me out.
It is. It's 6:38 in the p.m. and
you don't care.
Life's so bright. I need the shades. I'll tell you what's really weird is I'm now picking up with these shades all the different colors that are happening in here, and I'm feeling a little high, but I'm not. So it's a little weird.
That's good. That's good. Rick is next up in Nash. What's up, Rick?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Rick, I'm fabulous. I hope you are.
I am. I agree with you on the mayor's race of Nashville. We've had Republicans run as the nice Republican running, and I think it's time for a Republican to step out and boldly say, enough of this, stop this, offer you something different. That's why you should vote for me, and give the voters a choice. Do they want to continue going down this leftist socialist path where we're protecting illegals? We won't put license plate readers up to catch criminals, where in Mount Juliet every day they catch a person wanted from Nashville up there committing crimes because they have license plate readers. And so,
whoa, wait a minute. We want big government?
No, not big government, just license plate readers to make sure that if anybody's in a stolen car, then they will be pulled over. That's all. I don't care about it checking anything else. But
so like Big Brother, not big government. A little different.
No, here's the way that I would respond to this smart Alec over here, Rick. I would say, no, we want to provide the police with the technology, the modern technology that they say that they need to catch criminals.
It's the libertarian in me.
No, no. Police presence doesn't mean libertarianism doesn't mean anarchy.
I didn't
police
say
presence
anarchy.
is fine. So you don't want. So should the police be on horses or do they get cars?
They can have cars. They're cool.
Smart behind. He's being a smart behind.
I just don't like I don't like more stuff in government databases. Like it gives me the creeps.
So you don't like. So the police maybe should get out of their cars.
Well,
because that makes it easier for them to catch people and surveil.
No, that's silly.
What about cameras in their cars? Is that okay?
So the cameras in the businesses where the businesses say, "Hey, police, we want to give you these feeds so you can protect us more efficiently."
Government surveillance.
Fine, because I gave my consent for that. Mm-hmm. And okay, cool.
You give your consent when you're on a public roadway to be surveilled.
Yeah, I mean, you say that I don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. I'm not saying that it's not legal or constitutional. I'm just saying I don't like it.
This entire ship sailed when people accepted license plates, period. If you don't like the idea of people identifying you on a roadway based on your automobile, then you should be arguing that we should not have to register our cars and accept license plates. You shouldn't worry about license plate readers because, for example, are you telling me that a cop can't sit on a street corner and read license plates and put that into his system? Should he not have that system?
Yeah, he can absolutely do that. I'm just simply
saying. You just don't want a machine doing it for him.
It's a mass surveillance thing.
You just don't want a machine doing it for him.
Mass surveillance.
It's not a mass surveillance thing.
It is.
No. There has to be a proactive entry, and I don't think you understand how the license plate readers work, Cameron. Honestly.
So they're not capturing the license plates that go by?
They are matching wanted license plates with license plates that go by, and only when they achieve a match do they send that into the police department.
Sure, and
just like a cop is looking for a criminal in a red hoodie with headphones on and sunglasses.
It's okay. I may be in the minority here, and I just don't love that stuff. I just never have.
Well, then I don't think you would want.
I don't like license plates either. I don't know why we do those, but that's thing.
But I think the ship sails when we agree as a society that we're going to allow ourselves to be identified by our vehicles to begin with.
Well, yeah, I would actually agree with that. Why do we need license plates?
I'm cool with that.
I mean,
but that license plates are primarily used to make sure that we've paid our taxes on our cars, and I disagree with that too. I'm sorry, we're taking up Rick's time. Rick,
sorry, Rick, it got
sorry
wild.
about that. It got wild. We started arguing, and it's Cameron's fault.
Yeah, it's fair.
Rick, go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, and Cameron was discussing Congress codifying and stuff. I think Congressman Ogles is also leading on codifying Trump's executive orders. If you check that out, I think on his Twitter he talks about that. So just getting that in there too. But I do think
he wrote a letter.
A candidate running for mayor needs to give a bold, different direction next time, and not just be the nice Republican on the ballot.
What would you do? What would the thing be? Like, what policy would you do differently? I'm genuinely curious.
License plate readers?
I would not tie the hands of the police. I would let them go police. I wouldn't tell them to stand down if ICE is in town. If the highway patrol is out there, I would have officers out there helping.
Sure.
I mean, these people are blatantly illegal. Many of them are criminals, and there's no need of letting it be circumventing the law like that. That, in addition to, while you're doing that, you're raising the property taxes this year, and yet you still don't put money in to protect citizens and give them, as Matt said, the technology the police needs to do a better job.
Rick, great points. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you. On the, when we talk to these individual congresspeople, I don't care who they are, and then some of them I have respect for. But if I talked to Mark Green, Mark Green won't call into the show anymore, but because he doesn't believe in talking to the local community, but whatever. So if we spoke to him, I'm certain that he would say, no, we've got to get this done. We've got to make this happen.
Yeah, it always happens.
Andy Ogles would say that. John Rose would say that. Tim Burchett would say that. Scott Desjardins would say that. I mean, all of them say that. Then why don't they do it? And that's what owns me.
And here's the dirty secret that members of Congress don't want you to know, is there's this little thing called a discharge petition. And so what happens is you typically introduce legislation and it gets referred to a committee. And if you're not in leadership or a chairman, it just kind of sits there. Sometimes it gets taken up, but usually unless you're really hustling, it doesn't. Chairman and leadership kind of dictate what's happening, especially in the House.
Sure.
Well, in the House, there's this thing called a discharge petition that you can sign that basically says, you know what? You guys have buried my bill, and I think that we need to vote on it. So I'm going to introduce this discharge petition, and I'm going to get enough signatures that we're going to force it out of committee. So we have to take a vote on it on the floor, and it has to get scheduled. And I think Representative Luna did this with some of the
Anna Paulina Luna
remote voting stuff, and then leadership got their butt in gear. And so strongly worded letters are pointless. I can tell you as a former congressional staffer that letters get sent all the time. They are not worth the paper that they are written on. But if you start playing hardball, you got a choice to make.
How many votes do you need for a discharge petition?
I think it's a majority.
So a majority?
Yeah.
Of the total Congress?
But it's public, right? And so you say, hey, guys.
Well, then that's performative too, though, Cameron.
Discharge petitions work.
When have they worked?
Representative Luna on that vote, because you got Democrats to roll over and vote with her, and it went boop, and they were going to force a vote.
And they did that to embarrass the Republicans, sure. I mean, but how are you going to get Trump's EOs codified through a discharge petition? I'm just confused why that would work better than what they're doing now.
Because the speaker is going to schedule the votes, right? And if the speaker's not scheduling the votes, asking the speaker to nicely schedule the votes ain't going to work. But if you have a discharge petition that you're hustling around to the Republicans, then you can say, hey, look, I've got 190 Republicans on this. These are the Republicans that won't sign, which is what's slowing us up.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have something that's an inflection point where if you're just like, please hold a vote, please hold a vote, please hold a vote, please hold a vote.
Well, why aren't they doing that?
Because I don't think they have the votes. I think that they are missing.
They don't want a discharge petition, but I mean, I'm just asking. I'm not challenging.
Oh, why are they not doing the discharge petition?
Discharge?
Because leadership hates discharge petitions. Because leadership wants to dictate.
Well, I hate leadership.
Well, I think that's fair.
I mean, I just don't understand what they don't understand about do something. It just pisses me off. Just do anything. Lose. I don't care if you
should.
Just lose.
You should be mad, so should everybody else, because the truth is, leadership, I can tell you, they don't want to be embarrassed by losing a vote.
Not enough people are mad. I disagree. I think this audience is mad. I think a core constituency is mad. I don't think enough people are mad because these people do not feel threatened that they are going to lose their cushy-ass job in Washington, D.C. Right. Andy Ogles feels no threat. Mark Green feels no threat. None of our representatives in Washington, D.C. feel a threat.
That's fair.
And I'm yelling at you, but I'm frustrated about the whole thing. Yeah. It's just it's insanely frustrating.
5 laws since January. 5 laws.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 laws. And aren't 3 of them performative?
Three of them are resolutions of disapproval, and one's the funding mechanism, and one's the Lake and Riley.
We got the Lake and Riley Act. All right, that's good.
That's good law.
That's good law. The CR from last year's budget that they were supposed to do last year, right? And then 3 rando. Cameron looked this up one day, and I'm fascinated. 5. Count them 5, and it's so insanely frustrating. And when you talk to them individually, it's everybody else's problem.
Well, and they keep asking the administration to do stuff. Like they don't have a job. Their job is, well, I'm going to ask the administration to do a thing.
If there's one thing that I would think that I'm disappointed in regarding the Trump administration, it's not recognizing America's frustration with a lack of activity in Congress.
Amen.
And walking down to the Capitol or driving down, just walking up to the Capitol and look into a camera somewhere and saying to the American people, I'm going to get some asses in gear over here because it's high time these Republicans got something done. Otherwise, all of this could crumble in 4 years.
That's a great State of the Union. He should do that. He should just say,
Call them all out.
We're going to have a State of the Union right now because our union isn't moving because you guys, we have Republican majorities. I know they're narrow. I know they're thin. I understand that it's hard to get the Freedom Caucus and New York Republicans on the same page, but come on.
In the meantime, 8695 writes in and has added considerably to the argument that we're making here by saying, and I quote, Representative Luna is smoking.
Fair.
Sure. Okay. It's true. Okay. Donna writes in and says, Matt Murphy, 100% right. I had an argument with a friend of mine last night over LPRs. This idea that we can, Cameron and I'm fascinated that Cameron and I are arguing this side of this argument. Cameron seems very smug about it all. You look very shady over there.
Yeah, it's Big Lebowski over here.
Yeah. I feel like I should be arguing your argument and you should be arguing my argument, but we're not.
Well, I just think that you start with enforcing the law and go from there. It's not complicated. I mean, all this stuff is easy if you just enforce the law and then people decide, well, I don't really like how that happens. That's just not great. We're hurting people that have been here a long time, and we shouldn't do that. Yeah. All right, fine. Have the discussion.
50 after the hour, 51 now after the hour 9 until we say goodbye and hand off to Mark Levin. We'll get to Jeff in Tullahoma and perhaps you. I don't know. No, well, we got one more coming in, but that's about it. We'll wrap it up next on Super Talk. Y'all hear that? Hand bending the knee to the walk-up song? Sad. Sad. You know what else is sad? These stinky auto repair shops. Stinky, stinky, stinky. Is that the last thing that you smelled? Stink when you went into the auto repair shop? Smelly, greasy old rags lying around countertop that you wouldn't touch? Another thing that stinks, the repair shops, they keep your car forever. They're not ready when they say they're ready. They're not honest about what it's going to cost you. What was your last experience at your auto repair shop? Well, if it was bad, you weren't at Eurofix because Eurofix takes the stink out of European auto repair. At Eurofix, you get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection with every visit. Never any high-pressure sales tactics. At Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment and never pay dealer prices. Eurofix. In Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now in Mount Juliet. Call 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX. Or visit MyEurofix.com. That's MyEurofix.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just reviewing some of the commentary. You know, someone said, I think it was on, the best way, if you want to put Freddie O'Connell under a microscope, is audit the city. It's actually smart.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you believe that there's been mismanagement, if you want to get a direct way to suggest that he needs to be removed from office, general recall. Apparently, they tried to recall John Cooper, and I was told by a local official who will remain nameless that they failed, and it failed pretty miserably. And afterwards, the Metro Council changed the rules for recalls to make it much, much more difficult. So probably not going to make that happen. But if you audit the city and that audit comes up janky, well, maybe that's a way. Or, you wait till 2027. Jeff is next up in Tullahoma. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Matt. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Jeff. Thank you for asking.
Great. Okay, so I just have a few comments on some things you guys have said while I've been listening with regards to removing all or some of the illegal aliens. I'm from Nashville. I've lived there since 1968. I'm 57 years old. I went to junior high and high school in South Nashville. All of my family is from there. The whole Knowlesville Road, Harding Pike area where all these stops have been occurring is my old stomping grounds. And some things that I disagree with that you've stated with regards to not removing all of them or giving them a penalty with fines or some other form of penance, I just disagree with that, because a lot of things that are occurring in our culture, for example, the cost of homes. Well, we really do have 30 million illegal aliens in the United States, and a lot of them are in the Nashville area. I had to leave the Nashville area because the schools got so slow in performance that my daughter was able to excel, but she was being drugged down to the slowest learner in the room, which was somebody who couldn't speak English.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
It's a big problem. And then I was hit by someone not driving a vehicle while I was coming down Knowlesville Road, and right before you turn left onto Peregrine Mills Road, I lived up over in that area. A truck came up over the hill in front of Taco Bell and slammed into me without a driver in it, and it broke my neck.
Jeff, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm time limited. The bottom line is, you think all of them need to go back?
Yeah, but
okay.
Listen,
I can't. I'm out of time. I'm out of time. We're going to be cut off in about 5 seconds. I'm sorry. I'm out of time. I apologize. Call back. We'll try to get to you next time around. I don't mean to be rude, but I can't help it. It's 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So long, everybody. Hug your love.